Hello out there, everybody. Hope we're all doing good today. 1 second. Let me make this adjustment real quick in my chair. Apologies for that. We are here at the mean streets of Chicago for round number 6 of the sports car series with Track Limits Racing. In the booth, as always, you have me, Whelp Cakes, and Mr. Finicini. How are you doing today, Finn?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm really excited to see multi-class racing around the streets of Chicago, and we have a pretty sizable lobby for this one. We've got 22 cars represented in timing and scoring right now, and we're just waiting to see if we can get a couple more lap times in before free practice is over and get a good reference over like what everyone's relative pace is before we get into the qualifying session.
Absolutely. We are at a pretty unconventional course, I think, for a lot of road racers. You kind of see this one more in the kind of NASCAR land than you do over here on multi-class VP style or VP racing style. Racing. But I think it'll be very fun and very challenging in some regards, especially when it comes to having no runoff. It's very like Long Beach as well as Detroit Belle Isle. You have like Jim Lebetter showing us there by crunching against that wall, either getting real close to it so that way the game thinks, or the sim, thinks that he's hit the wall or actually has hit the wall. We'll have to see. But
yeah, it's gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight all over. The first couple, the first sector is probably gonna present the biggest opportunities, I think, for overtakes. As you start to get as you start to move through the lap, when you get into that last sector, it gets very tight. Walls are, we're talking like 2-3 car widths, and that's it. There's really no space for 2 wide, 3 wide action. So if people are feeling particularly racy, it could probably end in tears.
yes.
One thing in particular, before we get into the qualifying session, I am very interested in your thoughts on what we have right now for free practice times, because I'm seeing some pretty interesting players right now, especially when you start taking a look at the relatives to GT4 Pro and GT4 AM.
There is not a ton of time there.
No, there's not. You got, I mean, of course, you've got Ethan Hamlet, top of the timesheets, GT4 Pro. But Matt Pyle and Austin Green both shaking things up in Pro, which I think is exciting. Mm-hmm. That said, something we probably need to talk about, sitting down in 14th overall, and I believe that will be either 6th or 7th in GT4 Pro, is Mr. Tommy Kogan, who is sitting right now in GT4 Pro in 2nd place with 196 points over Henry Garcia, who I do not see actually in the lobby tonight. So he might get a bit of a reprieve from having to race somebody directly for points, except for the fact that his closest competitor in the standings right now is Tanner Schiffner, and he's running 2nd overall in GT4. So it's going to be very interesting when you take a look at the GT4 Pro standings, especially for that tight battle between 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yes. Absolutely. Sorry, checking on chat, seeing that someone has called me out for not running training pace. That has been corrected. Hopefully.
Oh, but that's an easy fix.
It is.
Easy
fix. So, but yes, yeah. I think it's going to be very interesting. Speaking of those championships, I think it'll be very interesting to see who uses this round as a drop round. Remembering my notes correctly, there are, I think, 2 drop rounds for this season for each of the drivers. I think a good handful of our competitors that are looking to get onto the podium and the victory of the overall championship for their race season, I should say, are using that as a drop round.
Mm. Yeah,
and
there's a lot. I mean, with the exception of LMP3, I think we're seeing more in GT4 in terms of like people exercising that drop round. Because I mean, we still got the top 4 sitting clean with no misses. But yes. You are correct, especially when we're talking about that GT4 AM category.
Yes.
Which I said that latecomer jumped in. Whoa, that was a nasty shunt.
That was a nasty set of hits there.
Yeah, latecomer into free practice right now. We're still waiting to get a good representative time for Mr. Christopher Blue in the 5:30. Showed up like inside the last 10 minutes. Don't have a good reference time for him yet. In terms of the AM stuff, let's talk about AM for a minute.
How do we pull up the
Corey
championship status?
Lobner. I'm talking in terms of times and scoring.
Ah,
Corey Lobner is sitting fourth overall in GT4 right now with a 29.9, and his nearest competitor is Sean Sullivan sitting on a 31.3.
Yep.
So Corey Lobner in the 41 AMG has shown up with some giga pace around here for the GT4 AM category.
Absolutely. I'm wondering how much that gap between those cars will tighten over the course of this, especially as people seem to find more pace. As we let's take a little quick ride along with Chris Blue as we're wrapping up free practice here for the next 10 seconds. Actually, I'll wait till we're in the actual qualifying to take a lap around the Chicago street course and the fantastically named set of corners on 4 street names, I think.
Yeah. We're basically racing on 4 streets in all of Chicago, and it's pretty hilarious. I don't know if you've got the track map pulled up. Oh wait a minute, we just switched over to quali. We'll pull it up for the folks when we're going into quali, because you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. We'll go over it when we get into qualifying. You'll love it. Yeah, while we're doing this, do you want to pull up the standings?
I was thinking so. We can talk about that while they're going through their driver's briefing. Might be a little bit shorter today, but we'll hop on. Well, their driver's briefing might be short. We'll take some time and look at the championship standings. Starting off with LMP3, our fastest class here. Scott Fleming currently in the lead with 233 points. Only a shy 11 points away from Gian Cardoso, who currently rides in second. Jaden Ledbetter is going to be in third with 175. Gab Chavez with 169. Mark Coyne, hardest working man in sim racing, if I'm told correctly, with a 144. Alex Velasco with 131 in sixth. Nicholas Alvarado, Wesley Griffith, Michael Lively, Vincent LaRue. And I've got 4 more on my roster, I believe. I do indeed. Or I have 3 at least. Andrew Monroe, Bartosz Wojciechowski, and Peter Hutch are all on that roster. I think it'll be interesting to see how the drop rounds adjust the distance between Gian and Scott going into the final few rounds here.
Yeah, final few rounds. I think Gian has been nose of the grindstone and has shown that you don't need to convert race wins to really make a run at it. 22-point deficit is really easy. It's really easy for that sort of deficit to get closed down in like a single race in this category, and we still got how many rounds left? I think we still
3.
got we've got Chicago, and then we go to Spa, and then finally the season finale at your destination, your home race at Mid Ohio.
Yes, my home
which
track.
I think is gonna be awesome.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. The thing to talk about now. So Scott Fleming right now top of the timesheets with a 20.84, I believe, if I'm looking at my timing and scoring correctly.
Yes.
Was top of the timesheets in free practice, but Gian Cardoso's struggling. Gian Cardoso pumped in last time I checked a 23.0, and that's pretty far back from even second place's Mark Coyne with a 21.21. So Mark Coyne showing up and showing out in LMP3 here in Chicago, and Gian's got some work ahead of him. But the thing is Gian's got 211 points because he doesn't stop. He's no quit, no quitting Gian. So it's just going to be interesting to see if he can maintain some good points, continue to keep that chase up with Scott Fleming. Street circuit, things could go bad for Scott. You never know.
Yeah, there is zero room for error at street circuits. That's why I love them. Pretty much, I love racing at them. It's always a rough when you have bad races at them, because it's like, you know exactly what happened. There's no, something bad happened, and there's no like ambiguity about whether or not you have gone too far. You've gone too far if you've hit the wall.
Yeah. It's it can end in tears. It can certainly end in tears. And I think with the LMP3's lapping GT4 traffic around the street circuit, again, we're talking a minute, we're talking a minute and 20 for the fast LMP3 runners to get around here. So we're going to be in the mix of dealing with GT4 traffic pretty fast.
Yeah, because what are those GT4 times looking? Just out of
so the top one. I mean, Ethan's sitting on a 29.
Okay.
So we're gonna be in it not too long. So it's gonna be interesting when that all shakes out. Now, let's take a look at those GT4 standings.
Yeah,
Let's
certainly.
see what we're looking at for GT4 Pro, because this one should not be surprising to anyone. You see Ethan there standing on top of that tall building in that shot, looking down on everyone else in GT4 Pro. but Tommy Kogan, 196, and Henry Garcia, 165. Colin Johnson, 162. Tanner Schiffner, 153. Matt Pyle Driver Racing with 146. Kyle Potter, the newcomer, he has usually a pretty good fan following in chat. Hope you all are with us today to watch the 123, who's sitting on 123 points, which is kind of interesting. Devlin Hunter in the 808 with 106. Ryan Vogel with 87. Ryan Buchanan with 84. Who else do we have in GT4 Pro? Let me take a peek real quick.
Here, let me got you. I can move you down.
Yes. Uthman Badmus with 79. Austin Green, 77. Stephen Wallace, who we've not seen in a while, and we miss dearly. In the Buckies with 74 points. Sam Chapman with 67. Ryan Thomas with 38. Kerry Nolan Jr. with 37. Jared Jones, 27 points. And Anthony Newman with 25 points. And that's your GT4 Pro. If we go back up to the top, we got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
in GT4 Pro right now, like I was talking about before, pre-practice, Tommy Kogan having a bit of a rough start here at Chicago, sitting pretty far down the order. And Tanner Schiffner was in terms of times, was only 4/10 off Ethan.
Yeah.
So we've seen that kind of closeness before out of Ethan, but we've also seen Ethan be that close in free practice and the drive off in the distance in the race. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting.
I definitely will be too. I'm curious to see the consistency there. You know, the best lap time and their average lap time is what I'm looking to see, what is similar and what changes over the course of the race, kind of evolves, both the heat and the feature, and seeing where that consistency lies. Because while, you know, Tanner Schiffner, I've loved seeing the fast laps. I would love to see that pace be successful throughout. Because I think that's the only reason he's not third behind Henry Garcia, I think, and then on top of not even on top of a drop week for him. So he still has drop weeks to apply, which will bring him, I think, back up closer as we get closer to the end of the season. But I'm curious to see how that changes and where that all shakes down.
Yeah. Sub in chat from Gian, 2 months.
Oh,
we're ramping, folks. We're ramping.
We are ramping.
Thanks to everybody who's followed and subbed. You're continuing to propel us forward as we bring you quality multi-class racing here in iRacing. And we've got Gab in chat. He says he's going to send it on T7. I would expect nothing less. Nothing less from you, Gab.
Yes. Will not expect anything last, but certainly not least. Hop over to GT4 AM. Always the one I think is one of my favorites to see how it shakes out. One of the closest set of point distances at this point for a lot of the folks in this in this category. Being led by Christopher Blue, Sean Sullivan not far behind at 126 over 137. And remembering the drop weeks, they both don't have any taken for missed weeks. So it'll be interesting to see where their two lowest brings them closer, farther. Eduardo Zamora, though, getting some pretty strong showing. I'm excited to see if he has a great race both here at Spa and Mid-Ohio, if he jumps both of them for the overall victory in GT4 AM. I think the numbers say that anybody really within the top four to 4 or 5, maybe even if Bruno Clemente has a really good set of races, will have a chance at that top step with the drop rounds.
The thing here is that GT4 AM has probably the lowest numbers here at Chicago, so I think people are really gonna leverage Chicago as that drop round, especially in GT4 AM.
Mhm.
So Christopher Blue, Sean Sullivan going to get another shot at racking up some points here. But the
Yes.
thing is that Christopher Blue and Sean Sullivan are going to have their hands full relative to the fact that Corey Lobner is lapping with GT4 Pro pretty consistently during free practice in terms of pace. He is quick.
Yeah.
So Corey Lobner sitting in fourth with that 111, definitely going to start threatening Eduardo Zamora, who's not here today.
Mhm.
That's going to potentially shake things up. And then John Newman, definitely going to have a run on Bruno Clemente with
Yes.
Bruno not being here. So
Mhm.
it's going to be interesting. We're going to have definitely a different graphic for you at Spa for
Definitely.
GT4 AM. But I think that's to your point. I think it's what making it very exciting for us is this is definitely the closest category to watch.
Yeah. And I think with the number of people who in the almost, top 10 really that are, or top 8, I should say, that have either 0 drop rounds or 1 drop rounds. I saw plenty of room for points to get to make up for that. I think it's going to be a tight championship.
Yeah.
I would say the similar for the podium overall of GT4 Pro. Ethan Hamlet, obviously, with his kind of runaway points lead, I don't know that it would take. I think if he just didn't race the last 3 rounds, they might have a shot. But I think it's the only one that it's that far away. And LMP3 has some pretty tight battles throughout as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's going to be good. We should get down to the track, sir.
We
They've
certainly
got cars
can.
on track doing the out laps.
Yeah.
The out laps are going to be coming to a close here soon, but we're going to be plugged in and watching GT4 out on track first. Now, both AM and Pro categories are going to be on track at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get their 10 minutes before the LMP3s get a shot. So the track will be a little bit more rubbered in for the prototypes, but GT4 doing their thing right now. And going to start seeing some times coming in soon.
Who's on a flyer? I believe we have Ethan Hamlet.
Mr. Ethan Hamlet has got the first half of the circuit done as he turns off of Columbus Drive and heading down.
Here, let's pull out this track map so you can.
Yep.
can see.
Now we're on Lake Shore and headed towards Roosevelt. Oh no, actually he's more than halfway through the lap. He's at the plaza.
Yes,
so he's going to hit East Jackson Drive and then turn back on South Columbus. You heard me right. We're going to be racing both directions of Columbus Drive and East Balbo. So it's going to be interesting here in Chicago.
It's like not quite a figure 8 because they don't cross. You instead go when you're on Columbus Drive, you're going into the center, and then you go out on Balboa. Not Balboa, but
no, just Balbo. East Balbo.
So,
yep.
Tanner Schiffner and Kyle Potter all setting times. Kerry Nolan.
Kyle Potter Tanner Schiffner with a 29.9.
Nice.
Matt Pyle. That's a pretty big distance between Tanner Schiffner and Matt Pyle.
Yeah. That is just under a second.
Yeah.
And Ethan Hamlet, while he's completed a lap, has not set a time. I think he hit a wall there. Corey Lobner setting 2 purple sectors so far.
Yeah.
Everybody else setting times. I have to imagine he's going to jump to the top of this board.
I was about to say, and Ethan Hamlet starting to battle back. Purple in Sector 1, going into Sector 2 now on East Balboa as he heads towards East Congress Plaza.
Mm-hmm. Doing
this little snake back over to turn 11.
Mm-hmm.
It's this part of the section. This is what I was talking about before. This is where the track is going to really collapse down. Nice and tight, and it's going to be very tricky to execute a pass because almost either you're exiting from a corner that's narrow, it's got a narrow start, or you're entering a corner that's narrow, and it can get pretty dicey.
Orange sector, and I think Ethan has not set a lap yet.
No, he touched the wall again.
Yeah,
touched the wall again. Kyle Potter going purple in Sector 2. Tanner Schiffner improves his time to a 29.63 with Matt Pyle still sitting on a 30.74. Interestingly enough, Corey Lobner was absolutely blitzing earlier and did not manage to set a time. So he's going out for his second flyer And he's going to try and see if he can get a time on the board because all that pace is great. But man, if you don't execute right now, it's going to be tough to pass during the race.
Yes, and if you don't also keep it clean enough to get a time in.
Yeah.
So, but he does with a 130.1. So that is second overall in GT4. And
Yep.
Still half a second. Sorry, now only a tenth of a second as Matt Pyle has also gone faster. But still a tenth faster than the second GT4 Pro runner.
Yep.
So
And Tanner Schiffner still finding pace in Sector 1. I think when we look at the tail of the tape at the end of qualifying, it'll just be interesting to see kind of like where people were strong because it really looks like Sector 1 is favoring Tanner quite well, even over Ethan Hamlet.
yeah, I mean, Ethan's having a bit of a struggle there, at least from the last lap he's run, as well as this one. It looks like he still sets an overall faster time, though.
Yep, 29.4.
A tenth. And Tanner Schiffner goes slower, so it doesn't set a new time for him. Kyle Potter goes faster, but doesn't improve his spot in GT4 Pro, but cuts down the distance between him and Tommy Kogan by to 0.05. So Tanner pulling over, wrapping up his quick qualifying run for the moment to probably hop back out. So say, who haven't we seen out on track yet? Who hasn't said it's
So interestingly enough, so Kogan's finding a little bit of pace. He definitely buttoned up a little bit relative to free practice. He seemed to have found at least 5/10 compared to his free practice time to get up into 5th in the 55. But again, Kyle Potter, well, actually, so Kyle Potter's showing his car 82, and he is not far behind with a 130.6. So 0.3 separating him right now. Kyle Potter's actually back in the pits. And it looks like relative to GT4, we only have Austin Green, Logan Branson, Anthony Newman out on track. Anthony Newman going back to GT4 Pro after a short stint in LMP3.
I think a really good stint.
Starting from the bottom in GT4 Pro. So he's going to have to build back up. Probably not going to be making any runs at any championships, but at the same time, too, it's not always about what you win. It's about what you get to do while you're doing it.
Yep. And how much fun you have, along the way, ultimately. And I think that was the whole reason for that switch back to GT4 Pro was the desire to have a good experience on a race weekend. So,
Draconis Phoenix in chat saying good luck. Was too late for the registration, so you'll see us on the next one. We will look forward to seeing you at Spa. Tommy Kogan getting very close to flirting with running into something. And Chris Turner in the LMP3 says he's about to no quali and start from the back.
That's
going to be very interesting.
Choice. Yeah.
Well, in LMP3, I think Chris has got some tricks up his sleeve. LMP3 is not a machine that he's unfamiliar with. Chicago, that's a different story. Chicago, I don't know who gets familiar with the street circuit like this. Somebody just got familiar with the barrier right there.
That was Austin Green, the last of our GT4s that are currently out on track. A lovely shot of the water fountain. That is the feature, I think, in the infield, I guess, of the bottom left corner of this figure eight.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
That's the best way I can.
So it's on. So it's on like. If you've hit Roosevelt, you've gone too far. So it's just one of those things with the Chicago street circuit. LMP3's out on track. We do have a good number here. I believe we've got 7 LMP3s here for round number 6 with
7, yes.
With Mark Coyne joining us again in LMP3.
Say as he gets closer to that start finish line, we'll ride along for a lap and we'll see what this track is like for the prototype cars. Well, maybe we'll ride along with our GT4 cars for the beginning of the race.
Chris in chat saying he's already taken a Tylenol in preparation for his arm. I know how old you are, Chris. I know you're probably putting on aspirin cream. It's fine. Me too. Me too. But yeah. Mark Coyne heading down East Balbo back towards
Was he heading north or south? I think it's technically north. He's heading north on East Balbo at this point, according to the track.
I mean, I am not gonna treat this like an episode of Cops. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna say the street name, and I'm not gonna tell you what direction the perp is running. Like it's fine. Yeah, he's getting ready. He's getting ready to close this lap out here as he crosses over the bridge,
Back
heading
to
into
the
sector 3.
start finish time. Let's ride on board. Let's hop in for a lap around this circuit with Mark Coyne, one of the 7 LMP3 drivers. And it's a very wide, like 90-degree turn. Both that and turn 6, I believe.
Yep.
Yep, or that wide 90 as well as turns 2 and 7. Really, like 6 of these corners. So half of these corners, right? Because there's 13, just under half of these are 90s. Ooh.
That might have been a touch there on the exit of turn 5.
I don't know if that was our sim saying that he touched it or if he actually touched it.
Yep.
But
We're getting ready to go into turn 7 here. This is another area where I feel like people are going to be sending it.
yes.
As Gab told us, he's going to send it right here.
Yeah.
Mark
right into here.
Mark your calendars, folks. So yeah, going through the plaza section as he's getting ready to wind this lap out. This is extremely narrow. This reminds me of kind of like what new Detroit is for IndyCar.
Yes.
Like towards the end of the lap, like just absolutely so close to the wall, no real room to make a mistake. And if you pass, you are very brave.
Yes. There is no room for a whole lot of anything, and if you're 2 cars wide at this point, you are using the entirety of the road space that they give you. So, but he will go 3rd fastest, 60 or 6/100ths of a second slower than Nick Alvarado in 2nd. Jaden Ledbetter not far behind either, a 10th behind Mark Coyne.
Jaden Ledbetter starting the LMP3 comeback season here in round number 6. Round 5, quality results for Jaden Ledbetter, if I remember correctly, and which is fine because he finally broke the curse. Ledbetter was just like sending engine covers into space. He's taking time off from that. NASA doesn't need his services for that anymore, so he's back to winning ways. So we'll see what Jaden can do here in Chicago.
And nobody seems to have set faster than Scott Fleming's time in any of the sectors.
No.
But everybody's setting faster times than what they've set last lap.
Yeah.
So
relative to what everybody's doing on track right now, they're starting to ramp.
Yeah.
It's just whether or not they're really going to be able to take a shot at Scott Fleming in the 37, because Scott right now has got a half second on Alvarado, and everybody else is starting to lose the gap to Alvarado, so it's going to be kind of an uphill climb.
Purple, final sector for Mark Coyne, bumping him 0.3 behind. Sorry, 1.5 tenths behind Scott Fleming.
That's a big update. That's a big update for everyone at home. Mark Coyne is really taking the fight to Scott Fleming and Nick Alvarado. So we might have ourselves a nice little 3-way battle here in Chicago.
I'm hoping so. Jaden had a yellow first sector, purple second sector. So it might be a good lap for Jaden. Gab. I said Gabe. I'm not supposed to say Gabe. It's Gab. Gab Chavez. Last person to set a time in the LMP3. I think he's had a couple of rough attempts at it prior. But is looking to make it over the start-finish line and get a lap complete. Which he does. And puts him 3rd. Very nice.
Yeah. So,
but Jaden Ledbetter right behind him.
Whoa! Jumps to the top.
Jumps to the top. Gets another 10th and a half, almost 2 tenths over Scott Fleming, who is not much faster. Mark Coyne putting another couple tenths on his fastest time to go 3 tenths behind Jaden Ledbetter.
So this is interesting. All the times that are coming in for LMP3 still like 2 tenths off fastest times in free practice. So I think people are really kind of like, trying to roughhouse the LMP3 around here, and I think some people might be tapping some walls, having some rough experiences because right now we still got relative pace in comparison to free practice times. So I'm very interested to see because Jaden Ledbetter, Mark Coyne, Nick Alvarado still in the pits. Scott Fleming's about to come across the line. I don't see him really taking the time away from Mark Coyne, and we don't. Nope. So I think that might be it.
That's
it
he pulls it.
He pulls it over. So what a qualifying for LMP3.
Gab Chavez dethroning all of them, breaking into the 120 point with a 120.9, going 0.2 faster than Jaden Ledbetter. A purple middle sector, orange, yellow first sector, green third sector, setting him up to be the fastest man on the track at the moment.
But with a 120.949, and if you know, you know. But the thing is Gabe Chavez. I mean, Gab. Just what an amazing time, man.
Yeah, and what he's an amazing green sector again. To looking, I think, to go even faster for one more lap. Nope, he spins it, puts it into the wall.
I'm telling you, he's just out there blasting.
Yeah,
trying to make it work.
Nick Alvarado trying to get one last lap in. We have another 5 minutes of quali still, so plenty of time for them to set another lap if they choose. Most of them seem to have decided not to.
I do think it's like a fixed. They're supposed to be getting a fixed 10 minutes each. I think quali's a little bit longer than that because they do the driver's briefing at the same time.
True,
but we'll see. It is definitely the case that Nick should be able to finish out his third lap here, and we can see what he's dealing with in terms of times as he's finishing it out. And man, back end is super slippy.
Yep.
I mean, he's yellow in sectors 1 and 2. I'm not looking. I don't see a storybook ending happening here. Well, actually, I see an ending, and it wasn't a storybook.
It was not a storybook. That car made friends with a wall that I don't think he was trying to make friends with.
Yep. But Rob Valkyrie with the follow 16 minutes ago. Thank you so much. Headed Scorp with the follow as well. Orange Slicer and Redline Fan. Awesome. Thanks for the follow, guys. We're gonna get ready for the heat race coming up. So we do have our normal 90-minute fare on offer tonight, Finn. So we got that feature race or the heat race before we go into the longer feature. So let's talk about the starting order. You want to take us through the qualifying order?
Absolutely. Gab Chavez. I was thinking I tried to get it right. I tried not to get it right. Anyway, Gab Chavez, pole position with 120.9. Jaden Ledbetter 0.2 behind him, sharing that front row in second. Mark Coyne, third. Fourth, Scott Fleming. Fifth is going to be Nick Alvarado. Sixth is going to be Chris Turner. And seventh, Gian Cardoso is our last LMP3. We get into the GT4s. Ethan Hamlet taking where's my buttons? Hello? Oh, that's great. This is not the right button. That's why that's doing it. Okay. Ethan Hamlet leading off. Corey Lobner and Tanner Schiffner, who are in first. Corey Lobner, the first GT4 AM driver, third overall in GT4. Matt Pyle and Tommy Kogan in what would be 11th and 12th overall. Kyle Potter, Anthony Newman, Ryan Buchanan, Austin Green, Sean Sullivan, Logan Branson are your second and third GT4 AM drivers. A while back from Corey Lobner. David Schneider, Kerry Nolan, John Newman, Christopher Blue, who I don't think he did settle. Did he sell off time? Doesn't.
I don't know.
I think if he did,
the leaderboard is already rolled over. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, John Newman and Christopher Blue are your last two drivers of this 22-car grid. Quick look at the race info. 19 degrees, 77% humidity, partly cloudy, 22 kilometers per hour wind as the gridding gets underway. And I have race lights like we are driving in a race that has start lights.
Yeah.
But grid is underway. So we get ready to go driving here. LMP3s leading away in a pack of their own. GT4s will be short to follow. They each have their own launch procedures to successfully get going. And we'll be following probably each of them as we get through the pace lap here.
Yep, it's going to be a pretty short pace lap with that 1 minute 20 for normal running time, so we won't be here too long. I really suspect that once the field gets held, Gab's going to have a heck of a shot on Jaden if he can nail the start, because he's going to have that inside run into turn 1. So if he can get the squeeze on Jaden before corner entry, I think he can make it. But he's really going to have to be good off the start. I think that's also going to be true in the GT4 Pro, because while Ethan has been known to get some really good starts, again, it's one of those things where he really wants to try and get it off the line, because Tanner Schiffner is going to be, I believe, because of the order of the cars. I think Tanner might actually have the inside line.
I believe so, because of Gian Cardoso kind of being on his own row, and then iRacing will slot the first GT4 in alongside them as a result. So look along with Gab Chavez going through turn 6 into turn 7. Turn that I believe he's got a dive bomb, I believe.
Yep, turn 7. Mark your calendars, folks. Some dive bombing will happen. It's going to be wild for Gab Chavez to dive bomb himself if he's in the lead.
It's true.
That would be fascinating.
Look at the grid here as it comes through the plaza. Turns 10 and 11, I think, or excuse me, 9 and 10.
You're getting close to the start here.
We're
going to go over the bridge into Sector 3. Again, folks, we got the heat race getting started right here in a moment. So if I look at the data, we should be looking at 20 minutes here in the heat race before we hit that 70-minute feature.
Barney's holding that green flag, and they are away. Good jump from Gab Chavez. Sorry, I don't mean to step on you.
No, you're good. You're good.
And all of them kind of zippering in behind. Scott Fleming and Mark Coyne having a bit of a rough start, and he's dropping down 2 positions. Chris Turner sliding around as well to take 4th. Nick Alvarado also on the way. Mark Coyne hanging out, I think just biding his time, getting a good position there. Gab Chavez. Ethan Hamlet leads away GT4 Pro.
Yeah, so they're getting lined up to go into turn 1. This one's going to be a bit tighter. These cars do not have aero that really assists them too much, and it's a hard stop there in that 90-degree corner, especially when you're going in too wide. But it looks like everybody's starting to line up single file as we go into the end of Sector 1. Ethan gets a hell of a jump.
Yeah, both him and Tanner, and I think Kyle Potter had a bit of a rough start there by the looks of it. He's back into 4th. I believe he started in 3rd. And Corey Lobner getting shuffled back down the order, I think, as he spins in the back there. And he has a crash.
Yeah, Corey Lobner, who had some monster pace in free practice, did not manage to convert that into a good quali, and is now going to have a heck of a time, kind of starting to close that gap back down. We do have fast repairs on offer in the sports car series, so he could potentially, if he's got damage, go in, take that fast repair. Maybe don't take tires, put in some fuel, and try and run this thing to the end of 20 minutes. I mean, we shouldn't see any pit stops for this, but he's going to want to try and get as many positions as he can before we go into the feature race.
Certainly. Let's take a quick look at that as everybody seems to be surviving through lap 1 into lap 2. Gab Chavez still holding the lead there Ethan Hamlet, Logan Branson now inheriting the lead of GT4 AM and setting a time just a 10th behind as he loses it going probably too wide into the first corner. Has to cut it short to make sure that he survives, and in the result loses a couple positions. I wanted to see what happened to Corey Lobner and then Tommy Kogan here. We got a second. What we do, I think he just self-spins by the looks of it, going into this corner. And gets to the power too early. He's hiding out there behind, yep. Touches that front end. I bet his car is probably okay to finish the heat. And then it'll get repaired in between races. So let's see what happened to Tommy Kogan. This might be too soon here. Let's hop back a little bit further. I have 2 markers where it says that he has crashed. Brakes. These cars look like they're really bumping. He, bumps it on the inside, spins it around as a result. And he's just sitting there. Backs it up to at least get out of the way, to make his maneuver around. So
J-turn opportunity missed.
So Gab Chavez leading off the race so far, still holding a very good time to Jaden Ledbetter and Scott Fleming.
Yep. I gotta wonder with the LMP3s and the downforce around here, because of the way the circuit's laid out, I wonder if the downforce going into some of the 90-degree corners and stuff, if any kind of like aero wash is making it to where it's tough for Jaden to kind of like get close to Chavez and then try and make a move in sector 1. It's going to be pretty tough.
That aero wash or the setups being tuned for either the straight line speed, because there are so many straights here, and versus a easier cornering but less overall speed car for these two. I think are the 2 downforce types you could see pretty readily, and what that means for each of them. And I think Gob just might have one that does straight line a little bit better overall.
Yeah, so if he can stretch the legs on that LMP3 and start to pull on Jaden Ledbetter a little bit, that would be ideal for him. Because I mean, finishing first inside that heat the heat race, we're not talking big points on offer, but we are talking setting your qualifying order for the feature race, which is going to be the big one. And again, track placement in qualifying was so critical, but I think finishing order in the heat race means so much more. So it's going to be real interesting to see how he finishes. And they're already catching back up to Tommy Kogan here as they get into sector 3.
Yep, they are going to catch up to Tommy Kogan, who I think will have to find an opportunity to let him by, or at least be prepared. No real room on that one corner, that one sector, like we saw and like we were talking about for the new Detroit circuit, but it is Gab able to get by, and now Jaden and Scott are going to follow along suit, still keeping that timing about the same because of Gab choosing to wait behind Tommy instead of pass him in that previous straight. Really crunching up the top 3 here in that battle for the lead.
Other close fights right now. Nick Alvarado staying close to Chris Turner and Mark Coyne are those 3 are kind of locked in as they catch up to Tommy.
Yep. Back to the other 4 of our 7 GT or LMP3 drivers battling it out, going too wide with Tommy.
And Nick is being brave about it.
Absolutely.
I think Tommy's having words right now behind the wheel.
I would have to be, because LMP3s lunging in the street circuit is never a great time. But it's pretty tight field here.
Time, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. Did want to do a real quick check-in in our I believe our AM category. I believe Sean Sullivan currently sitting on top. Is that correct?
That is correct. Sean Sullivan leading 2 seconds to David Schneider.
Yep. So, and Christopher Blue, who we did not see much in the way of representative pace in free practice and qualifying, he was down at the back. He just seems to be, he either had He either decided to unload the sandbags after qualifying for the race, or it's just a matter of like being the most consistent on a street circuit is a very, very valuable asset. But he
Yes,
finds himself in third, and he's chasing down Schneider.
that he is closing down to half a second. And I think he'll be able to take the fight to him in another lap's time, if not sooner, depending on how he handles the next couple corners. That these cars are going to look like they're going to bounce off these walls, I think, a fair bit for our stream, but it'll likely be a little bit less happening less than we see it in terms of actual contact with these walls.
It is 6 laps in. We are not quite at the 10-minute mark. Just passing the 8-minute mark right now.
Yes.
So we still got a good chunk of racing. It looks like Austin Green might have touched the wall. Don't really know for sure, but that definitely felt that definitely I definitely had vibes like he went into the wall pretty aggressively, but he's still moving forward, and that's the important part.
The LMP3 field has compressed behind some of this traffic. We're just talking about Christopher Blue and David Schneider. Gab taking it too wide in there to get some more track advantage here. Traffic really helping him get a bit of a gap to Jaden Ledbetter, who is compressed with the rest of the LMP3 field. I think, like you had said, traffic is going to play a pretty big role here.
Yep. I think traffic is going to give it, and traffic is really going to take it away. So it is down to being cool about it. Because don't get me wrong, yeah, your car's faster. Yeah, you got more downforce, but at the same time too, it's like GT4 car can't vanish. So
No. That was like a pretty.
oh my goodness.
Oh,
Alvarado.
Alvarado locking it up, trying to break. Mark Coyne also trying to avoid him. Makes friends with the tire barrier. That'll probably be okay.
That was a moment. That was
a
definitely a Code Brown.
Yeah. Oh, I think that was David Schneider making contact with the wall because of and Christopher Blue maybe as well. Because LP3 is getting around them.
I think this GT4 field, I think, to be perfectly honest, I think everybody is just going to try and hang on as much as they can, try and avoid getting that race ending or terminal damage that could cause you to lose out in this heat race.
Yeah.
Kyle Potter in the 82, he is chasing down Matt Pyle in the number 12 pile driver AMG as they're getting ready to go into, what is this? Oh, they're getting ready to go down the, they're exiting turn 5, so they're in sector 2 right now as they go down. I believe this is South Lakeshore towards East Val. No, not towards East Balboa. Oh no, yeah, that was Columbus to East Balboa, and now they're going into the plaza.
My track map no longer works.
Your track map just decided to. So instead, here's a circle.
Yeah, it's a circle now. Let's head along with see what Kyle Potter's seeing as he's chasing down here. Matt Pyle and how much he's working the steering wheel.
You know what I see? I see walls.
I see a lot of walls as well.
I see walls on walls.
If we look at the relative overall, though, we got to see Gab Chavez coming through here. And the rest of the GT4 field all flowing around, really spreading out that fight. Ooh,
oh man!
Lock up from Scott Fleming to keep it out of the wall, or out of Matt Pyle.
Matt Pyle.
Yeah,
Matt Pyle lives.
Yes.
That's the name of this episode. Matt Pyle still alive.
Still alive, but unfortunately, right back into the clutches of Kyle Potter.
Chris Turner getting through the field. Alvarado's going to be catching these two here shortly.
Yep, that's in the background there.
So it's we got some exciting fights. The field has actually kind of spread out really quick, and I think that. I mean, it's a street circuit. That stuff's going to happen, but But with the kind of ebb and flow you experience in street circuits like this, it looks stretched out right now.
Yeah.
There'll be moments when it gets really tight.
Yes. Such as right now, where Mark Coyne is being patient, waiting to get around these GT4s instead of pushing it through a very tight sector.
Oh.
Kyle
I
Potter.
don't think that was a glitch. I think that was a genuine touch of the wall for both Potter and Pyle, I believe.
Yes. Potter and Matt Pyle. Gian Cardoso taking evasive action to not hit Matt Pyle, who was trying to go over to the racing line. And let's have them two. Sean Sullivan trying to chase down Anthony Newman. Not for class, but close battle there. Close-ish battle.
15 people in here joining us for round number 6 here at Chicago Street Circuit. This is the sports car series from Track Limits Racing, and we've got 13 minutes done and dusted here in the heat race. We're getting set up for that feature in less than 7 minutes time. Thanks for being a part of the show with us. Be sure and check us out on simgrid.com. Just check the host for Track Limits Racing and join the Discord. Be a part of the conversation. Go ahead.
I'm fascinated that we still only have a 21.5 from Gab Chavez as our fastest lap in LMP3s.
I think it's tough.
Yeah.
I think what's the quote? What's the quote again? From our prophet, our Lord and Savior, Joylyn Palmer. You have to be alert on a street circuit. So
you do have to be alert on a street circuit, and I would say Gab is definitely the most alert of our LMP3s. Though Scott Fleming sets a 121.45, a little bit faster. So he's hunting for time now in clean air for these set of drivers that are all leading the race. Kyle Potter, Matthew Pyle, still on this fight for third in the heat. I think Kyle is just maybe waiting for his moment to shine.
Can we get a shot of that from Matt Pyle's perspective?
Yeah, we can. Let's see. Matt Pyle. Let's take a look at the gearbox. Let's see another. Yeah, let's do that one.
You can see there's already a little bit of battle wear on Pile Driver AMG as Kyle Potter is looming in the background. We've got close fights up and down the order. Kerry Nolan, Corey Lobner. Corey Lobner in 20th overall, trying to recover as many spots as possible here in the heat race. Mm-hmm. They're separated by 0.3 right now. It is getting spicy in several areas here as we tick down the last 5 minutes of the Chicago Street Circuit here.
Yes. Wasn't quite sure if that was an actual contact or a.
I think that was a bonk.
Yeah.
I think that was a genuine bonk. Like
let's see.
We need to start some public safety awareness on on Chicago street bonks. Is it real? Has it happened to you? Has it happened to your friends?
Right along with John Newman. There we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's in front of Kerry Nolan and Corey Lobner, who are giving chase right now.
And he is desperately trying to run away.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Gonna be tough.
And he's also trying to chase. Let's say we look at the front end of that, and he's also trying to chase down Dave Schneider.
Yep.
Who Christopher Blue has put a rather large gap on of 7 seconds as he tries to chase down Sean Sullivan.
I think that's down to traffic,
yes.
my dude. I think traffic.
So.
I think traffic do be causing them problems.
Yeah.
So GT4s right now are smashed together, pro and AM alike. You know what? I think when it comes to the Chicago Street Circuit, there are no categories. We all race.
Yeah.
We all out here. So
Anthony Newman.
It's gonna be
Sorry, finish your thought, and then I'll get to.
No. You're good.
Anthony Newman trying to take the fight to Ryan Buchanan. the other pile driving racing Mercedes AMG in the field this afternoon / evening / whatever time of day it is for you at home listening.
Close races all around, man. Close races all around. LMP3 field is kind of stretched out a bit. Closest fight right now, Jaden Ledbetter is keeping the race spicy in LMP3. 6/10 back from Gab Chavez, who is having a really good race right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing that to try and jinx you at all, Gab. I think you're doing fantastic. I did not get the dive in turn 7 that I was expecting. But that's okay. That's okay. I've lived with many disappointments in my lifetime. I can live with that one too. Yeah, Gab Chavez is just doing such a good job right now in the 729 and really putting the screws to Jaden Ledbetter in LMP3 category as we cross the 18-minute mark.
We are about 2 laps left of the heat race.
Mm-hmm. I think we'll be white flag when he comes across the line.
I believe so.
With that, so in right now, I mean, if somebody we have not talked about at all, Ethan Hamlin right now ahead by 10 seconds on Tanner Schiffner.
Mm-hmm.
Just going to be cruising, trying to get the car home with no damage and get set up for that feature race.
Mm-hmm.
Tanner Schiffner is looking like he's going to be the one that's going to shake up that pro category standing the most.
Definitely.
And I'm very excited to see how that works out.
Yeah, with such a good gap between him and the cars around him, he's definitely going to come on with some great points if he's able to keep up the pace that he has here in the feature.
If you would, sir,
yes, sir.
You might want to go take a peek over at Chavez, because what I think we're going to have is we're going to have ourselves a nice little end here where the cars relative to where they finish, we're going to have a number of people that are going to be finishing races relatively close to one another in sequence, one after another.
Yeah.
Chavez right now getting the help with some traffic as Jaden Ledbetter is trying to get away from Scott Fleming. Scott Fleming has caught back up and is now attached to the gearbox.
And there's that dive Gob was talking about. Not turn 7, but...
Not turn 7, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
Dive around the outside to keep that gap.
Yeah, he's got to line these passes up perfectly as we close this race out here with 20 minutes has elapsed. It will be checkered flag when he crosses the line. Moves to the inside. Can he get to Schneider before the corner? No, but he does have Newman as a buffer.
They're all just going to kind of filter through.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Fleming is harassing Jaden Ledbetter here at the close of this lap. Newman is just kind of stuck, basically running safety guard over here. Like it's just and exiting the final corner. I think Gab is going to put it in the books. A big weave for the fans at home, and the 729 comes out on top. Jaden Ledbetter in second with Scott Fleming in third. Chris Turner is going to come home in fourth. Nick Alvarado in fifth. Mark Coyne sixth. Gian Cardoso in seventh. What about Mr. Hamlet?
He is currently going through Fountain Corner for his own final lap. Still 12 seconds ahead of Tanner Schiffner, who's also wrapping up laps. Matt Pyle, Kyle Potter, Ryan Buchanan, Anthony Newman, and Austin Green all still needing to finish their laps, as well as Sean Sullivan and Chris Blue amongst those. And he makes it around, gives a little flash to the individuals.
Good stuff,
there.
man. Good stuff.
That's Ethan Hamlet, Tanner Schiffner.
Tanner's had a really good race.
Yeah.
He's had a really good race. That's going to be an excellent point haul for him. And Matt Pyle and Kyle Potter, no slouches either, coming away with some good points and putting on a good show for everyone at home as they come across the line third and fourth in the category. Ryan Buchanan's going to get some good points. That's good for his championship because he's been kind of struggling a little bit, but he's also been showing up to most of the races and has got some really good points on offer here for the heat race and lines up really nicely for the feature with Sean Sullivan taking the win in AM, Christopher Blue in second, Schneider in third, and John Newman in fourth.
Take a look at
Man, this is
these.
going to be a good one.
Absolutely. Oh, rude. I was in the middle of looking at those.
Yep.
He won results. Gab Chavez taking home that win in the heat. Jaden Ledbetter a decently close second, but he was a photo finish trying to get ahead of Scott Fleming and able to keep it in front of him. Chris Turner in fourth, Nick Alvarado, Mark Coyne, and Gian Cardoso are your 7 LMP3 finishers. GT4 specifically, Ethan Hamlet is in first, a 12-second gap between him and Tanner Schiffner, who takes home second. Matt Pyle in third, Kyle Potter fourth, Ryan Buchanan is in fifth. Anthony Newman and Austin Green round out the 7 finishers who finished on the lead lap to Ethan Hamlet. Tommy Cogan and Kerry Nolan, I believe, are our 2 other finishers who finished a lap down due to, I think, various incidents of their own. And last but certainly not least, the GT4 AM.
Yeah, in AM, Sean Sullivan taking that top result with Christopher Blue coming in second. Christopher Blue with that second place finish after starting on the back row. Good result for him. He's going to bring in some good points to keep his championship hopes alive. Sean Sullivan, though, getting some good points to try and chase him down. David Schneider with a third place finish is a fantastic result for him, and John Newman coming away with fourth. Good points for him because, again, that GT4 AM category is pretty close. The one that was the shocker, Corey Lobner in fifth, kind of had a disastrous opening lap, and I'm really interested to see what happens now that we hit that 70-minute feature race where they're going to have to take pit stops into account. Both him and Logan Branson might have a shot at trying to recover some spots during the pit stop battle in the feature race.
I definitely think so. I think between that and then the raw pace that Corey had in qualifying, if he has that consistently lap after lap, I think he'll be able to work his way back up the order pretty easily, even without the pit stop.
Yep.
The pit cycle will be interesting as well because of how you have to dive into it. It's kind of similar to Long Beach almost.
Well, the exit is very, very reminiscent of Belle Isle, where it just basically dumps you out. Whereas like Long Beach, it dumps you out into turn 1, but you've got some time before turn 1. And in fact, you've even got a control line that cars that are going into turn 1 aren't allowed to cross. In this one, they dump you out in the middle of the corner into turn 1. So it's going to be very interesting to see what those pit stops look like, because you're going to have slow cars basically exiting out on the racing line for the corner exit into turn 1. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting for real.
Yes. Very much so. In our warm-up here, what are your thoughts going into the feature outside of what you've already shared? Any further? I mean, what's the battle you're looking forward to?
I mean, I'm looking to see what Chavez can do in this feature in LMP3. Like really coming out here and shocking everybody with that pole position and then converting that into the heat race win. Gab is just out here killing it in Chicago street land, and it's wild to watch. And I mean, he performed really well, but in terms of pace, he didn't disappear. So Jaden Ledbetter and Scott Fleming are still a threat. I also think that Chris Turner could potentially be a threat, especially with the pit stops being a thing. I mean, he's not that far off of Scott Fleming.
No.
It's going to be interesting. And then when you look at the GT4 field, I'm really interested to see if anybody can kind of like upset the apple cart for Tanner Schiffner. Tanner Schiffner's having a very good weekend so far, coming away with some good points, getting set up for this feature race. Had monster pace relative to Matt Powell and Kyle Potter, but traffic's a thing here. It could definitely cause problems. Tommy Cogan has got to be looking for redemption here in the feature race. I think that's going to be another one to watch. In the AM category, again, like what we were talking about right before we switch back over, Corey Lobner. What happened? What happened? And what can he do in the scope of this feature race to unlock that pace. I think nailing his pit stop and managing traffic. I think leverage that pace when you can, but have your head mounted on a swivel when you know cars are looming around the corner. You're just going to have to play it safe because he's got the pace. He'll close on John Newman if he keeps his head on a swivel. But if he lets it all hang out, I wouldn't be shocked if we see him in a 5th or 6th place finish.
I think so. So,
just waiting for the cars to line up for the feature. They're getting set up right now. Cars are gridding up.
And ideally.
So 70 minutes, round 6 here in Chicago. You're watching round 6 of Track Limits Racing Sports Car Series. Finn, before we get this formation lap started, we got 2 more rounds left. We're going to Spa for round 7, which is going to be interesting because the GT4s really going to get to stretch their legs on the Kimmel Straight. LMP3s are going to be probably relatively quick there, and I'm very interested to see when we start getting into basically out of the Camel Straight and into Malmedy and Bristol. What are the LMP3s going to do with GT4s that are running relatively no downforce? On a track like Spa, and then we got round 8, sir. Round 8, Mid Ohio. Tell me what you think about that.
I'm excited to see 2 hours of racing around my home track. One of my favorites. I'm very familiar with it, and I'm excited to see what they're able to bring to it. It's such a fun course. It's the road course that IndyCar drivers quote it. IndyCar. It's a road course that drives like a short track. Yeah. It's got the S's. It's got, I think, all of the quintessential racing turns jam packed into a small 1 point. Fucking small course. So I think it'll make for very interesting and very competitive racing over the course of 2 hours. Yeah. And
I'm looking forward to it too. I think it's gonna be a good show. I think the elevation shift, we don't race a lot of tracks where elevation shifts that are that quick happen. And I think with the LMP3s in particular, that's gonna be pretty interesting. I'm noticing cars out on track. Did Ian Cardoso jump to the pits?
Yeah, I have it listed on my event logger that he has jumped to the pits. I don't know if he just didn't grid or if he is starting from the pits. But it should be... That'll make for an interesting start for Ian Cardoso. I'm also excited for Spa. Let me not take away from that. And the battle I'm curious to see is if Scott Fleming can get around Jaden Ledbetter. I know you talk about Gab Chavez and his amazing drive, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. I don't want to take away from it. I'm curious to see if Scott Fleming or Chris Turner have pace to get around these two up at the front.
Yep. I think it's going to be interesting. They're hitting the Plaza Drive right now, getting ready to go into Sector 3 on this formation lap. Again, kind of similar to what we saw at the start of the heat race. Chavez is going to have that inside run on Jaden Ledbetter. Jaden Ledbetter is going to have to be way more with it on the race start if he's going to try and make either a run on him before turn 1 or try and pinch him off and go around the outside into turn 1. It's going to be very tricky, very tricky.
And the pace car is going to dive in there. So we get ready to go to the green flag. And Gab will control the start here, and he can go whenever he wants. And he has hit the gas pedal, and they are away. Gab getting a great jump on the start there in relative to the rest of the field. Zippering in behind him, Jaden and Scott Fleming all getting good starts. A little shaky there.
Yeah, Chris Turner has a little bit of a moment. Nick Alvarado's going to be able to capitalize on it.
All of them seem to be having brief little moments. Nick Alvarado covering off the inside and put a defensive line for Chris Turner as we jump over to the start for GT4. It seems to be a pretty stable start. Matthew Pyle just trying to block out Kyle Potter from getting around him. Those two were battling earlier on. And the heat, everyone seems to get away pretty scot clear. Gian Cardoso there as well, trying to get away from the rest of the field.
Got a wreck in the back.
Sean Sullivan in the back there has spun. And he's able to keep it out of the wall. Let's take a look at that real quick.
I think he might have had a touch. I think he might have had a touch. We're about to find out. He loses the back end of it.
He does have a touch.
Contact?
Yeah, it was a contact with Christopher Blue. And then he makes a little small tap on the rear end.
So that's a pretty light touch. I think that's going to be subpar in terms of his race, but with the pit stops being a thing, I think he can come back into it. You might want to check in on Kyle Potter.
I do. I just saw it. Kyle Potter now we're looking at over here on this turn. Once again, trying to take the fight to Matt Pyle and just self spins trying to get around that corner fast enough, and that rear front is gone.
Yeah, his front left, I think, might be broken. The car does look to be...
It's still turning, but it's definitely not happy.
Yep, so he's got no front end, and he's trying to get it restarted. So basically corner entry onto East Balboa, and just over-rotates the car. And now he's behind Sean Sullivan as they go through Plaza into Sector 3.
Matt Pyle also has crashed immediately after, like the next corner. Let's see if he also self-spun. Or if he had something else happen here. Oh, gets it.
Wow.
Snap of understeer, oversteer.
He just didn't. I think he just came in too hot.
Yeah, let's take a look.
I think he just came in too hot, and then he hit that wall exceptionally hard. I'm wondering. Yeah, I think he realized his steering might be broken, so he brought it back to the pits. So he's going to get that toe.
I'm taking one more look on the onboard to see what he... Oh, just bumps the inside. Yeah.
He clipped the wall. He did he did what was it? The Schumacher at Monaco in the Haas. Like he just basically touched the wall and it turned his car into a missile. Schneider's crashed. We have got absolute calamity here in the feature race, and I'm noticing multiple indicators for Dave Schneider, who now jumps to the pits.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that quick second. I wanted to check in on the actual racing, what's happening. Gab Chavez currently leading with a nice 1.3 second gap to Jaden Ledbetter. I think having a really good lap, almost 0.6 faster than Jaden in that last lap. And before we dive back in, Ethan Hamlet also having a great run to Tanner Schiffner, 4 seconds in a lead there. The GT4 field very spread out very early. You can see Ethan's there, and Tanner is there. And the rest of the cars seem to be filing in almost one at a time. Let's see what happened to David Schneider here. And then I also see Logan Branson. Going to ride along again. And he goes to make a turn. He had a tire squeal in the end.
Man, there it is again. Entry into East Balbo, and it is just you lose the rear end of the car, and then that's kind of all she wrote.
And this is Logan Branson trying to keep the car going, and he seems to be doing okay. Oh, too much pace, and he bumps. Oh, keeps it out of the tire barrier, but he decides to jump to the pits.
Well, he caught that inside tire barrier.
Yeah, I also don't know how forgiving the tire barriers are here versus Long Beach. Long Beach specifically has been pretty forgiving, at least to me in the past. Gab Chavez, only half a second now. Still setting his best lap, and is a 2/10 faster than Jaden Ledbetter. It's Scott Fleming right on him. Let's take a ride along with Scott Fleming as he's trying to catch up to Jaden Ledbetter.
Man, the entry into this. So this is giving me like glimpses of season 1 when we went to Homestead, where you get basically there's like a chicane you have to like thread a needle. That corner entry into the plaza section, you just basically have to get as close as you dare to that inside wall, and you'll know when you got it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's very interesting. Chavez continuing to just eat the lap times up. Now down to a 21-0, about to maybe pop into the 20s as they're clearing more traffic. Sean Sullivan in the 66, I believe. Yeah, in fourth right now in GT4 AM, 14 seconds back from Lobner. Lobner having a good recovery here. Lobner's got his head down. He's putting in the work. 1.3 seconds back from John Newman in GT4 AM, and Christopher Blue currently in the lead. Again, this race, I think 70 minutes is going to be tough. It's going to be survive. Like you got pace, that it don't matter. The pace don't matter if you end up in the wall. So
we've seen already. Yeah. So Kyle Potter pitted, got his fast repair taken to get that front nose reattached from his incident earlier on. He is back out on track. Corey Lobner looking to get around Austin Green here and probably get back up the order of GT3 AM. John Newman 2 seconds ahead, I believe, 2 seconds ahead of, no, 1 second ahead. Sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. 1 second ahead of Sean Sullivan.
So another driver moving through the field right now, trying to make up as many spots as possible. Tommy Cogan now behind Christopher Blue as he's trying to clear Christopher. They're not in the same category. Christopher Blue, GT4 AM, Tommy Cogan, second place in GT4 Pro. If he can clear Christopher Blue, he's got Austin Green, Anthony Newman to get around before. Actually, I think Austin Green is the next closest pro competitor. So a little bit of space between them right now.
He's got a little bit of room to breathe behind him, but he wants to make sure he keeps moving up that order to fight. Sorry, who am I? Oh, it's Kerry Nolan. Sorry, I thought that was Austin Green that I was looking at with that paint scheme. Yeah. That's Austin Green. That's his livery. Yeah, I definitely know what that one is. Apparently.
I mean, Austin Green right now. Austin Green right now trying to chase down Anthony Newman in the number 2 Maka. Anthony Newman actually having a pretty decent feature race here at Chicago, and he's going to try and keep it keep on improving, keep on going. He's actually, Ryan Buchanan.
Yeah, he's chasing Ryan Buchanan, and then 3 seconds up the road from both of them is Tanner Schiffner. So they've cut down a little bit of gap, not by much. But
shout out real quick to Sim Driver Keck W in chat. Good evening to you, sir. Thanks for joining us. You're watching round 6 at Chicago, the street circuit. Right now, we've got the multi-class racing action happening. We're only 8 minutes into the feature, so we still got 60 minutes of racing after we get another few minutes into this round. Gab Chavez in the 729, leading LMP3 now by 2 seconds.
Gosh, and this battle for second is getting intense. Scott Fleming to Colorado running too wide in third and fourth in this battle.
Scott Fleming might have touched the wall.
I don't think so.
Don't know how much. Don't know. I mean, I think he slapped it. I think he absolutely just slapped the wall. Sim Driver saying Wookie OH, Mr. Logan Branson told him about us, and checking in on Mr. Logan Branson right now. Currently a little bit back from Sean Sullivan, but we've still got pit stops to go through. He was involved in some early lap shenanigans. But he's out in front of Dave Schneider right now.
Mm-hmm.
So still some good points on offer. And, here's the thing, man. Finishing 5th right now with the GT4 AM participation being low, people claiming this drop round here in Chicago, that's some good points for Logan's championship.
And I would say it's P1 overall. P22nd P21 in overall, -7. P14, so P14 points isn't bad for a series that usually has a handful more drivers in both categories. as
Yep.
he's getting passed by this GT or LMP3 traffic that is starting to make his way through.
The LMP3 race leader, in fact.
Yes, the race leader, and the battle for second following shortly behind. You see it looming in the background. That definitely was a hit for Scott Fleming there. Yeah. You could see it.
That is the second time I've seen him basically cue ball off the wall. But it doesn't seem like it's slowing him down that much. But man, here they go around the plaza on the outside. 4 LMP cars.
Oh, and they are still battling out this battle for the P3. Nick trying to head off Scott from getting an inside line, and there is a little bit of a touch there, but Nick catches it before that, and they've gone too wide again. Oh my gosh, Chris Turner in the background of all this.
Can we get an onboard from? That
God.
is a huge wreck, and Chris Turner manages to thread a needle into turn 1. That was massive. Can you go back to the start of that crash?
I certainly
that was wild.
Can. Let's just hop back. Nick Alvarado passing for P3. Let's do that. The crash here. So, Scott alongside just enough to Nick Alvarado. Nick Alvarado just keeps turning and gets turned across the nose. Scott Fleming loses the rear end trying to avoid and brake, but they are both in the wall.
So, that was wild, man. What an accident.
Yeah.
And Nick Alvarado's car is mega busted. And
let's see. I want to see. Oh, rude. Hold on. I was trying to take a look at this from the inside of. Nope, wrong way. That's track position. Okay. Well, anyway, I'll figure out how to do it the right way.
Do this. Go to Scott Fleming and then go to cockpit on Scott Fleming.
Yeah.
Because we saw it from Chris's.
That's
we saw
right.
it from Chris's vantage point.
Yep.
Okay, so there's the wall.
And then you can see that he doesn't turn that steering at all, and Nick goes to try to squeeze him, gives no room, and then just gets turned.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I think either Nick had the clear signal, or he was really just trying to put the squeeze on him. But man, Chris Turner makes out like an absolute bandit, and Jaden Ledbetter in his crosshairs now.
Yep. Jaden Ledbetter hoping to get a break with the result of that as we look at a bunch of trees because the dynamic camera is super great. And hoping to get a break and instead gets a different LMP3 in his rearview mirror.
Yeah. And these two have raced many times. So Chris Turner can try and put the screws to Jaden Ledbetter and put on a show for everybody. In the meantime, Corey Lobner is half a second back from Mr. John Newman.
Yes. And Corey Lobner showing a bit of that pace, like we were talking about. It's hitting 34s, which is faster than John Newman, who is right in front of him. And also, I think, not super representative of maybe overall pace, but I think he's also had to deal with lap traffic or lapping traffic. Past lap he was racing.
Yeah, Corey Lobner just following John Newman here through Sector 3. Going to probably try and apply some pressure as a little bit of a bobble on corner exit. Newman getting ready to go into the final corner.
Sorry, the new lighting system just making John Newman's car a beacon of sun from the way the reflection angles work.
Yeah, you just basically from the heavens, the lights are shining down on John Newman right now. The new lighting system is pretty good, but at the same time, it can get, like right now, a little excessive.
It can be a little excessive. I think it also gets really dark under the overcast and raining conditions.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So
it does have a bit of that nighttime effect. Also checking in. So right now, close battles. This one right here, Corey Lobner chasing down John Newman. We've got Austin Green about 7/10 back from Anthony Newman, and then Tanner Schiffner Tanner Tanner Schiffner is what now? No.
Nick Alvarado is trying to pass Tanner Schiffner back for position.
That's what's happening here. So yeah, so the repairs are over for Nick Alvarado, and he's back out on track trying to find his way around Tanner Schiffner.
Yeah, and doesn't want to get lapped by Gian Cardoso, who is right behind both of them.
Yep. It's all about survival here.
Tommy Kogan.
Oh, sure. Huh? Real quick question from chat. Sim Driver Keck W wants to know, get a brief explanation of the league, how it works, how to join, that kind of stuff. So first off, I'll help you with the how to join part. So if you'll take a look at simgrid.com and search the hosts for Track Limits Racing, all one word, you'll find our community page. Just follow the community. You should be able to see the series that we are a part of, and should be able to join through simgrid.com. To be a part of. I believe LMP3 category is open right now. I think GT4 is going to open after Chicago. So I think for round 7 at Spa, GT4 should be open again to participate. We do 90-minute, most of the time we do 90-minute sessions. We'll do a 20-minute heat race, which qualifying goes into heat race. So qualifying sets the order for the heat. Finishing order for the heat race sets the grid for the feature, which is 70 minutes. We do have restricted fuel tanks. I believe it is, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Finn, I believe it is 55% for the LMP3 and 35% for the GT4. So it will force pit stops even in this these shorter races, and it does require a lot of strategy if you want to try and do a fuel save. So that's kind of the format here. We do have the GT4, so LMP3 single format in terms of only one class on track with LMP3. GT4 has 2 classes. We have the Pro and AM categories, and yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the long and the short of it.
Yeah, and I think Chris Turner had a bit of a incident. I don't think I can pull it up on a thing because
an
incident. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Because he is 20 seconds. Oh, sorry. Mark Coyne is 20 seconds back from him. I misread that. I'm reading the timing tower all wrong today.
It's fine. It's no biggie. So with Chris Turner, one thing I did notice, I don't know if you saw this going through the plaza section, he is sawing on the wheel to get this car stay straight. It is it's wild. And by the way, fastest lap right now, Gab Chavez, 20.20. So he's moving right now, and he has 5.3 seconds. So this is very different from the heat race. Gab Chavez is putting in work, and he is making some distance, some space between him and Jaden Ledbetter.
Yeah.
Ethan Hamlin, of course, setting a 15-second, almost 16-second gap to Tanner Schiffner, driving his own race.
Yep.
Closest fight in GT4 Pro, we got Ryan Buchanan, who is actually 6/10 back from Austin Green, I believe. Yeah, it's starting to. Whoa, I'm gonna. Oh, hello, somebody from Argentina saying hello. Let me translate that real quick. And, somebody's supporting Gab Chavez.
Gab Chavez. Oh, wonderful.
Yep, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Thanks for being a part of the show.
Thank you.
And I believe that is I'm gonna try and say this. Hopefully, I don't butcher it, but I believe that is Lucha Tony. So thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yep. This battle for P3, yes, P3 overall between Anthony Newman, Ralston Green, Ryan Buchanan, still going on. About a second separates each of them. Corey Lobner still trying to get around John Newman. John Newman putting on a very good class in defense.
This is what we were talking about before. It's like Corey Lobner has like really good pace, but yeah, I mean, it's a street circuit, and you got to deal with that LMP3 traffic. It's tough out there.
Yeah,
I believe that's the race leader behind him.
That is the race leader, Gab Chavez. Current trying to find his way around both of the GT4s. In the background, you see Jaden Ledbetter, Chris Turner also hopping into this straightaway. Look at that gap that Gab has over Jaden Ledbetter.
Yeah. So it is definitely going Chavez's way right now in the 729. But we still have the pit stops to go, and I suspect we're going to be seeing The pit stop's probably here around, I want to say maybe the 35, maybe the 40-minute mark. So we're still kind of close.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see at least one of them by that time, if not ones sooner for LMP3s. I'm trying to figure out how long. Ooh, good exit for Corey Lobner as John Newman had to deal with Jaden Ledbetter trying to take the inside, but not enough to get a run going. So then Corey had to check up to not run into John Newman. Kind of not to do that.
And with the with 16 laps in the books right now, the topic of conversation for the Chicago Street Circuit here in round 6 is going to be about survival. Like
Yes.
it is all about how you're managing yourself relative to the walls and how you're managing yourself relative to the different classes and categories that are zooming around. Because we've definitely seen some moments, some Code Brown moments between the heat race and the start of this feature.
Yes, definitely. And plenty of ones that have dropped cars back out of the order further down, and I think we'll probably see a handful more of those, especially as we get to the fuel, the pit stop window, and where the cars settle down after that. And if they take new tires, getting those tires up to temperature, and if we have any spins as a result of cold tires, I'm guessing that's what a couple of those were. They were, at least weren't helped by the fact that tires were not up to temperature yet.
One thing I do want to say, relative to all the calamity that we saw in the first 10 minutes of this race, we have 22 of 22 drivers still on track right now.
Fantastic. Everybody is still running because there's great, like we talked about at the start. It is great points for everyone involved.
Yep.
Corey Lobner.
You can definitely make a championship run out of some points that you can come away with in Chicago, and even with the drop rounds on offer. There are people that are taking the drop round right now because they're like, oh, my results would have been really bad. I mean, for AM, we're paying back to P5. So, there's really good points on offer, even if you come stone last in GT4 AM. Yeah. So it's gonna be very interesting to watch the standings in GT4 AM. Oh, looks like John Newman.
John Newman saves it. That's how I was like, Corey Lobner finally gets by John Newman. How does it happen? And that's how it happens.
Pressure. There's pressure. And I did see that. Looks like Dave Schneider might have found the wall.
I think he was just in the pit lane, but I think he might have jumped pits. Yeah, that would be.
Oh, he just catches the inside, and that front left is probably toast.
Yes, that looks very toast.
His front left is toast.
So
hopefully he's going to get in there, just snatch that fast repair up, pop some fuel in the tank, and then get back out on track and get some points right now, because again, we still got points on offer, even in the AM category.
Riding along on the nose with Ryan Buchanan here, as he is still chasing down both Austin Green and Anthony Newman in the battle that is happening in front of the two of them. And Gian Cardoso passes Mark Coyne for P4 in GT or LMP3.
Yeah, I could see Dave Schneider, if he can get back out of the pits and get the car back on track. I could see him leapfrogging Thomas DiArcangelo, who's not here today, and maybe closing in on Dylan Hendricks, who's also not here. Brandon Potts in 9th in GT4 AM might be a bit of a stretch, but for this week, for this week. But it'll be a good setup for Spa. So we're gonna see how it works out. It does look like Gian Cardoso passes Mark Coyne for position.
Yes, that is for position. And
very interesting.
Let's see what happened there.
Going into turn one. Oh, he overcooks it, and he catches the wall. So maybe some front aero problems for Mark Coyne going forward, but if he can hang on that first pit stop, take that fast repair. Maybe don't use this pit stop for a tire change. He might have a really good opportunity to keep it close with Gian.
Doesn't seem to be affecting him too terribly. Probably a few tenths, I guess, at most. I was expecting a little more wheel damage based on the way that impact hit on the front right there, but it doesn't look like it's actually taken too much from him.
It does look like Austin Green might have made his way around Brian Duquesne.
I believe. Yeah, Austin did, and I believe Ryan Buchanan's still just waiting to get back into the fight. They're both behind Anthony Newman.
This fight is continuing to heat up. And Tommy Kogan is not far off. I mean, he's 2.9 back, but he was like 3.5, 4 seconds back before, like 3 laps ago. So this fight is slowing down the battle for third, and Tommy Kogan is just continuing to close in the 55 Aston Martin.
He is taking about lapping about 2 to 5 tenths of a second faster, and he's now in the background of this shot, coming up to this battle for third overall third in GT4 Pro.
Yeah. Can we have a brief conversation about Mr. Christopher Blue setting the purple 30.567 in GT4 or GT4 AM, and he's got 12 seconds on Corey Lobman. Christopher Blue is just putting in work.
Yeah.
Like just out there. He's out there doing things.
Yeah.
Like in terms of pace, let's just talk about in terms of pace. Corey Lobner was lapping at a 29.9 for free practice, and with Christopher Blue now getting into the low 30s, like he is just ever so consistently just been chewing up the lap time to be kind of where he is right now, and he's just got to navigate some LMP3 traffic and hang on to GT4 AM.
Certainly, and not hit the wall. Ooh. That looked like that was a crunch.
Yeah, that was
serious.
That was a bit of a bonk. That was a bit of a bonk.
And Ethan Hamlet into the pit box.
Whoa.
And a bunch of people lighting up on the screen as
what
a crash.
Just happened?
Let's hop back. Take a
Can
ride.
we see what happens here?
With Nick Alvarado. He cooked. Oh, definitely. Loses it. Yep. Cooks it. Crashes
he's in the wall. Okay.
He's over here. Okay.
So
what else happened? Oh, I hear stuff in the background. Let's take another look. Ryan Buchanan, this battle for third overall in GT4 Pro, I think also gets loose as they check up, and that gets that, and then a comedy of errors.
Yep, and that the pile driver AMG is broken, but the thing is, he's going to try and see if he can limp it back to the pits. If he can get it's going to be tough for him to turn, but if he can get it into the pits.
He seems to be able to. It just definitely crabbing from that right rear.
Look at the crab walk on this AMG. Same thing for Gian Cardoso, who manages to get it into the pit box. Gian Cardoso's having an absolute nightmare race.
I think
here in round 6.
He had a pretty good race up until that point, but that accident, let's take a look from on board with Gian, because he's kind of one of the last ones to arrive on the scene. And it looks like, Anthony Newman checks up to not hit the crashing Nick Alvarado. The two of them just stopping in the middle of the track because of the backup there, and then getting rear-ended by Mark Coyne, I believe.
Oh, man. And his car is absolutely broke.
Unhappy.
He's going to be hitting, and every time he's hitting the wall, he's just racking up the X's.
Yeah.
We're going to count for a potential drive-through penalty. Yeah. So it just went from bad to worse. So pit stops happened. Believe it or not. I mean, some
pit stops, regular pit stops
happened. Yeah, they happened. Ethan Hamlet was in the box for 26.7 seconds. And then, is Gian back in the wall?
Gian just made friends again, locked it up, trying to get out on these new tires.
I think his back was broken again.
He has a rear end that is not happy.
Yeah, and so 26.7 seconds in the pit box. Scott Fleming dove into the pits Oh, no, he pitted on lap 9 after that crash, took his
Yes.
fast repair. So he's back out on track. Just taking a peek right now at other pit stops. Ryan Buchanan,
Austin
his was
Green.
27.9. Austin Green was 26.2. So relatively quick pit stops in GT4 category.
Anthony Newman, Kerry Nolan also stopping.
Race leader Gab Chavez in the 729 in the pit box right now. We're watching the time tick up. Chris Turner in the number 9 car has inherited the lead of this race. Yeah, he got by Jay Ledbetter while we were watching Calamity.
Yeah.
22.38 seconds in the box for Gab Chavez. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it. I'm not trying to jinx the man. I'm just impressed right now. Just genuinely impressed right now. He's hitting the marks. He's unlocking the pace. He's navigating the traffic. He's using patience, and he just executed a 22.3 second pit stop. So he's probably has not taken tires.
I would not imagine. Yeah. It sounds like fuel only stop.
Yeah.
Or
so I
2 tires. You might have time for that.
Yeah. I suspect we're going to see another pit stop at the end of the race for him. Christopher Turner and Jaden Ledbetter also in the pits right now. They're racing to the end of the pit lane. Oh no, they're in pit lane now. Okay, cool. All right. I was thinking GT4s are racing LMP3s to the end of the pit stall. Like what's going on here? What's happening?
They're looking for their boxes and nobody knows where they are. So
this is going to be no, I did not curse you. I promise. I did not. I promise you, Gabe.
That commentator's curse, though.
I did not do that. That was not me. It did not happen. You didn't see it.
That front looks very unhappy.
Right now, that front does look unhappy, but he is going to get out ahead of. No, he is not.
He's going to get out ahead of Jaden,
but not Chris Turner.
Not
Chris Turner in the box, 21.3 seconds. Jaden Ledbetter, 22.6 seconds. So a tale of pit stops. Gab Chavez lost an entire second in the pit stall relative to Chris Turner. And then Jaden Ledbetter.
Oh, that front end looks like it's okay.
Front end looks like it's okay. I wonder if it could be just a client issue for us.
It could be. Let me see. I'm cheating.
And we could be seeing a wonderful battle here where Gab Chavez is going to be able to give chase to Chris Turner so that he can secure his potential first feature race win in the sports car series. So, game on.
Jaden Ledbetter right behind the two of them as well as Gab takes a dangerous jive around Kerry Nolan.
Was that T7?
That was not. That was not the T7 dive. That was
T7 dive?
10.
I'm still waiting. Like, I'm not going to, like, don't get me wrong. The Yelp review is not going to be exactly 5 stars, but, you know, you promises made, promises kept.
I want to see real quick. Tommy Cogan. I think this might be, no, this is separate. I thought this was part of the event. Tommy Cogan is listed as crashed. I want to see what happened here. Oh, definitely upset. Oh, makes it in. Okay,
just a loss of control.
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to figure out if this is all tied.
Whoa!
Oh, nope.
Oh, nope, missed it. Gonna have to go around again.
Yeah, okay.
And Chris Turner is just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I believe that was Sean Sullivan, was it?
That was Anthony.
Was it Anthony? I hope Anthony's got enough fuel to make another triple round.
Yeah.
Tommy Cogan, did he just touch the inside wall? They look close. It looked awfully close. Corey Lobner in the pits right now, watching the time tick as he's in the pit stall. Tommy Cogan is his nearest competitor, who is going to get it done. Yeah. I think Corey Lobner is really going to try and make sure that he comes out ahead of John Newman for sure.
I think so. Seeing how this battle for second unfolds. Gab Chavez cutting a little bit of time down to Chris Turner and keeping Jaden Ledbetter at bay. I wonder, like I said, it doesn't look like I see anything when I'm looking at him from here, but that car looked like it absolutely made friends with that front wall.
Yeah, it did look like
right.
he clobbered. It did look like he clobbered the front right, but I think he's going to be all right.
Oh.
He is. I mean, it does. Here's the thing: the car does look like it steers like a pig. Right.
Yeah,
So
it definitely looks like it has lost aero to keep that right side down. It just looks like he's pushing through it to give the car. Look at the roll bar throughout this.
Yeah,
he's definitely working that steering wheel a lot. So there's definitely an aero loss somewhere in that, if not a wheel issue.
Indeed.
Gene Cardoso back in. Oh, I think this is a crash. We'll find out.
Yeah, he's gonna chastain the wall as he's just not a happy camper.
No.
Not a happy camper.
Nope. Okay. Doesn't want to show me.
All right. It's just not gonna show you.
Nope.
Fair.
All right. Oh. Kyle Potter also making friends with the wall, it looks like.
Oh, is that car crab walking now?
No, it looks okay.
No, it looks okay. Looks okay.
You look on the inside from the roll bar.
Kyle Potter contingent can breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Does look like he is still driving the car. It is it's not broken.
It is not broken. No.
Yeah. Ryan Buchanan, 3/10 back from Anthony Newman. So Tommy Cogan making out like a bandit in the pit stop cycle and has found himself in 4th place as he's chasing down Kyle Potter. And with Ryan Buchanan kind of getting involved in that massive pileup. No relation to pile driving racing.
No.
That was just something. He finds himself in 6th place with the opportunity to maybe try and maximize some points. I just got froze out. That's probably a network connection on my issue.
Maybe yes, because it looks like I'm still running finalist.
Good deal. As long as the folks at home are getting a show, which I do believe they're getting a show here on the street in Chicago.
I believe so. Mark Coyne also in. Kyle Potter back in probably to fix whatever got broken on that incident, if it was something serious. As well as Logan Branson and David Schneider, I think both in for their scheduled pit stops. Giving Austin Green back to P7 around Kyle Potter in the pit lane. And Sean Sullivan as well will move up the overall GT4 order around Kyle Potter. Mark Coyne on an outlap. He is a ways behind the LMP 3 leaders.
And that's what I was talking about. You see how much room Ethan Hamlin had on corner exit when Mark Coyne popped out of the pits?
Yeah.
Like the margins out for pit exit are so small. And speaking of margins that were small but no longer are, Gab Chavez was within a half second of Chris Turner and is now at 1.3. So I don't know what happened to him, Chris. To be honest, I don't know what's going on.
I don't know either. I also don't know why Jaden's back in pit lane.
I think I know what's up.
Huh.
I think I know what's up. I think he knows. I think he knows the score, and he's like, LMP3 is going to have to stop one more time. So he's going to
go for an undercut.
He's going to go for the Giga undercut. Instead of doing the splash and dash at the very end, he's just going to go ahead and take full service, maybe put on some new shoes and see if he can take the fight to Chavez and Chris Turner here.
Yeah, he's in there again. 23.98 seconds.
Yeah, I think he's taken another pit stop. I don't know if he took tires, but I think he's taking another pit stop, getting topped up, and going to try and take the fight to Scott Fleming now, who pitted on lap 9.
Yeah.
So Scott still has yet to pit for scheduled reasons.
Yes. I believe that was because of damage the first time around.
Yes, that is because an engine cover is floating somewhere in the atmosphere. Just typical LMP3 things. They just like to just shoot their parts into the Earth's stratosphere.
Yeah, they're like adding to the debris cloud slowly accumulating around our planet.
Yep.
Ryan Buchanan, Kerry Nolan now also in this battle between Anthony Newman. We are way far away. What happened? Oh, guess how that...
Look in the back of the shot.
Oh.
Christopher Blue in GT4 AM is about to start harassing some pros.
I mean, he did just set the fastest lap of GT4 AM with a 130.3. 130.4.
Yep, a 130.3 would be about a second slower than Ethan Hamlet right now. And a 130.3 would be faster than Anthony Newman right now, who's sitting 4th in GT4 Pro.
Yes.
So I'm sure everybody is going to be clamoring in the Discord for Christopher Blue to pro win. Because the thing about Christopher Blue in GT4, and I think we've talked about this in previous weeks, is just a very consistent driver. Just
absolutely.
Most of the time, not really blowing our minds with like raw pace, but what he does do, I mean, to be perfectly honest, better than the majority of his GT4 AM compatriots, is just putting in laps and reducing the number of mistakes that he's making. Because if anybody at home watches motor racing and is a fan, or if you're new to it, one word of advice I could give to you if you ever get involved in racing is that you do not win spending time in the pits.
Nope.
So,
for whatever reason.
But LMP3 field has closed down a little bit. Ryan Buchanan is the closest thing we've got going right now. Ryan Buchanan is 3/10 back from Anthony Newman.
Yes. We're all in the vision of Christopher Blue, who we're riding along with for the moment, to see what shakes down to this. He continues to close the gap between all of these cars. Ryan Buchanan hot on the heels of Anthony Newman, looking for that overtake.
He's showing him the nose as they get ready to go down into turn 2 on the brakes. Man, I don't know if it's bugging for me. I didn't see brake lights from the McLaren. I know he hit the brakes, but I didn't see brake lights. So I had myself a bit of a crisis.
No, they're not as noticeable as, say, the Mercedes or the Porsche lights are, especially in the daylight. It's a much softer like light up. I always tell because of the little like a wing light lights up. Is my
Chicago skyline in the background as they're running down towards East Balbo. More LMP3 traffic about to thread through.
Yep. I can tell that was a hit for Anthony Newman.
Mark Coyne, the hardest working man in sim racing, is on the hard charge to catch Jaden Ledbetter. 16 seconds between him and Jaden. Gian is lobbying for the longest pit stop award. I mean, relative to what's going on right now, maybe, although Dave Schneider just popped out of the pits and is driving again, and his pit lane travel time was 8 minutes and 20 seconds. So I think he's got you beat there, Gian.
Yes. He was in the box for 7 minutes and 53 seconds.
So he took all his optionals. He's back out on track now. But I think if you wanna hop in and take another shot at it, Gene, you're more than welcome to. Yeah, Ryan's got the fight that people are watching right now at home. Chris Turner, race leader, currently 2.2 seconds ahead of Gabe Chavez.
And that gap really hasn't opened up a whole ton. But it also hasn't closed.
Yeah. No, it hasn't grown that much. No, it's fluctuating a lot. I think the traffic is kind of what is making this fight kind of like draw out. GN is sworn off Chicago.
I
He's like,
don't
I'm not going to Chicago. I'm not going to Chicago ever again. It's too cold. Deep dish pizza's too watery. Like I'm just not here for it. Which for me, I'm here for Chicago deep dish pizza because I'm a degenerate. I'll eat anything. So
I will also eat just about anything. And Chicago deep dish pizza, I think, is great in Chicago.
oh yeah,
And I don't think I've had it anywhere else.
you don't like the Unos in another state.
I've never been. To be fair, I don't think I've also ever looked for Chicago's deep dish pizza outside of Chicago.
Oop, is that a tap?
I don't think so.
Did Chris give it a tap?
Doesn't look
Tiny
like it.
tap, a little taparoo.
Scott Fleming in for his scheduled pit stop. Or
for real this time.
Or I would say maybe his second scheduled pit stop and just took his first pit stop early.
Well, he took his first pit stop because his engine cover is no longer with us.
But it was also it then turned into a scheduled pit stop.
Yeah. He definitely seems like he has spaced it out in a way where it's going to work out for him.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of getting set up for the end of this race. The question is he going to be able to stay out in front of Jaden Ledbetter? I don't think so because Jaden's going to make his way around right now.
But he should clear Mark Coyne pretty clearly.
Yep. And John Newman not getting caught up in that pit exit awkwardness.
It reminds me a lot of like Monza, where you just get spit out into the racing line pretty quickly. Yeah. It's the same kind of concept. You're just going, you're on the inside instead of the outside.
Yep. The thing, I don't know if it's just one of the wonderful features of American street circuits that are clockwise, is that they're just like, hey, you know what? We're going to put pit exit. We want it to be like a jump scare.
You get spooked by a car coming out.
Exactly. I mean, it's like that in Belle Isle. It's like that here. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
It's like
Road America's okay. Road Atlanta's terrifying.
Road Atlanta as a track is one that I don't fully comprehend why it is the way it is.
I mean, it's one of my favorite tracks. It's one of my favorite tracks. It is my white whale. One of these days, I'm actually going to finish. I'm actually going to take the checkers on the track instead of in the pits.
We'll make it a plan for you to do that.
Make it a plan. Yeah. It'll be my big win in big personal goal for 2025. Finish Road Atlanta on the track. Take the checkers on the track. It's been rough on me, but Chicago's been rough on these guys. Like real rough.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like for real on God. Rough. But Corey Lobner, 7/10 back from Christopher Blue.
Yeah. And he's been talk about another route of consistency or race of consistency. Corey Lobner just setting real consistent times and setting himself up to probably either battle Christopher Blue, maybe pass him pretty easily.
I think in terms of pace right now, they're running really close numbers. I think Lobner has the pace advantage. I think Chris's consistency has kept him out in front for this long. I think from here on out, it will be a matter of Chris hanging on. But to be perfectly honest, Chris could let Corey go by. Difference between first and second's not earth-shattering. Chris Turner has crashed.
Chris Turner has crashed, according to our overlay, and our timing tower is. Oh my gosh!
The inside of a GT4. Oh, that's terrible. That is terrible.
And Dave Chavez inherits the lead. I'm gonna take a look.
Oh man, that is awful stuff.
He just keeps backing up. Okay.
Well, I mean, he's facing the wrong
Yeah,
direction.
I'd
I think he's
say.
going to try and go into the access road and then
Yep.
turn it around.
That is what he does.
Yeah, and he's back in it.
Yep.
That is
Yes.
unfortunate for Chris Turner. I think it's just caught the inside of or caught the front end of a GT4 car going around the outside, and then
Yeah.
that was that. Now here's the thing, man. He's still like 40 seconds ahead of Jaden Ledbetter. I think there's a pit stop still in there somewhere.
Yeah, for
We'll find out.
both Chris and Gab, there will be pit stops, and then they are the last two LMP3s to pit.
Here's what I would do if I was Gab right now. I'd be saving like my life depended on it.
Yeah, because you have so much time.
If you could,
Chris.
yeah, if you could, I would be coasting everywhere. But I don't know. I don't know if the number's close enough. I don't know if he can hit it. He might be too far into his stint to be able to hit it because you got that cutover point where it's like saving's no longer an option.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be saving everything. I'd be saving for to buy a house. I'd be saving for my kids' graduation. I'd be saving for college. I'd be saving everything. I'd save lives. I'd save the whales if I could. But
Chris Turner is diving in to probably take a pit stop, understandably.
yeah.
He will probably, I think, end up coming out behind Jaden Ledbetter and maybe Scott Fleming, possibly. Because that battle's heating up as that was a pretty hard slide, it looked like.
That was a bonk. That was a bonk. But he's back out.
He's back out.
He took his fast.
8 seconds in the box.
Yeah, he's playing 4D chess here.
Man.
So he is. He's like, you know what? If I can hang on to these tires to the end of this race, I'm good.
Yeah.
So he just boxes, takes that fast repair, hops back out on track.
So the question is Gab going to get the pit stop done? Or is he still staying out until he is absolutely out of fuel?
I mean, we're about to find out. He does have a 45-second buffer, and the longer that he can push this, let's say he does need to stop. The longer he can push it, the better. The thing is, the pit lane here at Chicago, not short.
Nope.
It is not short. It is a minimum of a 30-second trip. So I seriously doubt we're going to be looking at a pit lane travel time that cracks 30 seconds.
But if he only has to do 8 seconds on the jacks, that's still 30 seconds to the 50 seconds that Jaden Ledbetter and 45 of Scott Fleming, and it would be more along the lines of the 30 seconds that Chris Turner put in.
Yep.
Anthony Newman has crashed. What happened here?
Anthony getting ready to go into turn 1. I believe that's Logan Branson.
Logan Branson. He cooks it on the inside and just runs into Logan and drives away from it.
Yep. He drives away from it, and Logan's rear end is just disappeared.
Yeah.
F's in chat for Wookie OH. That was an unfortunate circumstance. And we got Dave Schneider here, who just chastains the inside wall.
Yeah, and he's just... I don't know what's happening here. I think he's trying to stay out of the way and ends up really roughing up the car as a result. Or his car was already damaged.
Maybe.
I don't know. Either way, Scott Fleming still half a second behind Jaden Ledbetter, trying to get and remove Jaden's podium chances. And he is closing in pretty quickly. I think traffic is really helping having Jaden trying to be safe.
Yeah, Jaden has had kind of a normal race. We're kind of not used to this from Jaden. Like, we're used to, hellfire and brimstone falling on top of him. But yeah, managing to survive this long, knock on wood. But Scott Fleming getting a good look at the transmission on a LMP3 car. Oh, GT4, most awkward time.
Yep.
Oh, but he's able. Oh man, Jaden actually got the worst end of that deal.
Yeah, by a fair margin.
Oh man, are they going to go 3 wide into turn 4?
No, I don't think so. But Scott's playing it safe, giving Anthony plenty of room there as he's passing Anthony, and then also Christopher Blue as we're riding along with Scott Fleming here, still chasing down Jaden Ledbetter. You can see how rough street courses are on LMP3. Not that they're much better on GT4s.
Yep.
The suspensions aren't really that different, but
shout out in chat to Alonzo Amador 01. He says Vamos Chavez, and yeah, keep cheering him along, man. He's sitting in first place to the tune of 43 seconds after Chris Turner gets caught up in an accident with John Newman in the Plaza section here in Chicago for round 6 of the Sports Car Series with Track Limits Racing. I'm Whelpcakes Fennicini in the booth with me, and we are getting to the tail end of this. We got less than 14 minutes left.
yes, and this battle continues for these guys. Austin Green as well, chasing down Anthony Newman. We went past them. Ethan Hamlet diving to pit lane with 15 minutes. Not even, 15 minutes. Just under 15 minutes to go. Coming in from the lead. A whole 30, almost 40 seconds in front of him or behind him to Tanner Schiffner.
Yeah.
And he's probably not going to be on those jacks long at all, is going to be my thought. He's hanging out.
Shall see.
Yeah, Tanner Schiffner.
Just coming over the bridge right now.
Kyle Potter and Sean Sullivan also battling it out for overall GT4. Ethan Hamlet still putting in 10 seconds. Gap is closing. Jaden and Scott Fleming also still battling for positions as they reach the end of their stints. Just under a second between the two of them. Sean Sullivan finding himself, I think, in a barrier. Let's see what exactly happens here. Ooh, loses it, overcorrecting.
Wow.
Turn.
And Kyle Potter just barely sneaks out of it.
Yeah.
Just barely.
Finally.
We've had some really close saves here.
Yeah.
Chris Turner threading that needle when Scott Fleming and Nick Alvarado came together.
Gosh, yeah.
Man, just some absolute saves here. Oh, man, somebody in the shot that we haven't talked about at all, currently sitting in 3rd in
Tommy
GT4
Kogan?
Pro. Yeah, Mr. Tommy Kogan has found his way back into the podium spots in GT4 Pro after having, to be honest, a really torrid start to round 6.
Yeah, the heat race was not kind to him, and he's been kind of on a recovery drive since. Has been successfully recovery driving and having a better drive than a lot of his competitors that were in front of him. But with the kind of rather large accident with a group of cars tumbling all of them kind of down behind Tommy, he finds himself 20 seconds behind Tanner Schiffner, but in 3rd place.
Yeah, and in 3rd place, and the thing that I'm actually kind of interested in now, so if I take a look at the pit stops, Tommy did manage to pit 1 lap later than Tanner. So I think if it all kind of makes sense that they might have to pit 1 more time. Austin Green's coming in actually right now. So we might have another round of pit stops for the GT4 runners. Scott Fleming, man, he is so close to Jaden. He is just hanging on to the back end of that car.
I think he's just waiting for the right time to make the pass. Gab Chavez still out in the lead. And he has increased that gap. And I think as soon as I looked away, it labeled Scott as being crashed. What happened there?
We have a little moment.
I think so.
What happened here?
I think he maybe slid into the barrier.
Oh, he touched that wall.
Touched that wall, and he slides. Yep.
What happened to
Crunches
the
that.
car? Did you see that?
Yeah.
His left side came off the ground.
Yeah. And it just
What happened?
slid. I think that bump unsettled it, and then he turned in before it really, I guess, replayed it. Let's go take a look from, let's see what we ride along with in one of the onboards here. Let's see if we got an onboard here that looks good. Let's look at this one. Pop in one more time, look at this. So just taps that wall ever so gently and just loses it trying to correct it.
I mean, if I'm him right now, I'm probably cussing iRacing pretty hard because I don't really understand the physics that would cause an LMP3 to lift in that corner like that. But
The
also,
amount of
a lot of
bumping,
physics.
yeah, I don't know. From the amount of bumping that happens in that corner, I've seen Gab's car do it a couple times. And it looks like one of those things you just kind of have to hang on to. I don't know.
Interesting. So the two-wheeled stunt driving that nobody asked for in iRacing. I get
Yes. Yeah, the grip rolling like you can do in a Toyota GR86 here, also in iRacing. But I believe that brings the battle between Jaden and Scott to a unfortunate end. As Tanner Schiffner takes his final pit stop there.
Yep, he's going to take his pit now and going to try and maintain space over Tommy Kogan, who I believe still has to pit as well. Somebody who still has to pit in, well, two people in LMP3.
Yep.
That would be Gab Chavez, who's now in the pits.
Yep.
And Mark Coyne.
Yep. And Mark is still on, just past the start-finish stretch. So a bit of a rough race for him as well. He pitted on lap 27.
Yeah, a little bit later.
Yeah, a little bit later. I wonder if he has enough to run the last 8 minutes or if he has to do a splash and dash.
Where's Chris Turner at?
Chris Turner, he's back on the second to last corner. Gab Chavez is already out.
Interesting. So we're going to get a gap. We're going to get a gap update here in a minute. Hopefully that will be a little bit tighter than 40 seconds.
Yeah, it's coming down. It'll be, I'm going to guess, probably closer to 15. A little bit over, based on where they both are on track. But still, great pit stop for Gab Chavez. 8.0 seconds in the box. 34 seconds in pit lane travel, so about the same pace as Chris Turner. So Chris Turner has, I think, lost a couple seconds over the course of this after the spin, and put him further away from the rest of the field.
Yep.
Or put him further away from Gab Chavez.
So with the pit stops coming in, Tommy Kogan's going to take his final pit stop, and it looks like he might cycle behind Tanner Schiffner, but will he stay out in front of Kyle Potter? We'll find out here in a minute.
Real quick, I want to see what happened here. Chris Turner is labeled as crashed, and
again, the bump. I saw him come off the ground.
Yeah.
But man, did he save it?
Yep.
Did he save it?
So, Tommy Kogan on his out of his pit box.
Yeah, I think he's going to clear before Kyle Potter gets even a shot.
And
so
Kyle's
really,
back at the other end. So that leaves them about 15 second gap there.
Yep. And with that, I think, John Newman's going in for his pit stop. I think when he comes out, he will be the last of the runners to pit. Well, no, Corey Lobner. Corey Lobner still has yet to pit.
Corey Lobner still has yet to pit, and then Mark Coyne in the LMP3 field has to pit as well. But they are the last two, I think, that have not made their second pit stop. And I'm curious if Mark is going to try to stretch this fuel out to the end, because he has about 4 laps to make it. And I'm curious because he came in on lap 27, and I believe most of the other leaders came in on lap 21, 22 from LMP3. Curious if he has the fuel to make it to the end.
It'll be interesting because I bet if he did some saving in the first stint, because we saw him kind of drop down the order at the front.
Yeah.
At the start of the race. But the thing is that I'm wondering if he's been kind of playing the long game here the whole time.
Yeah.
Not really mixing it up in the field, so to speak, and just kind of just running his race, running his numbers. And we'll see kind of how it works out because, I mean, he's got, you know, I don't even think Gian Cardoso's out on track, but really the only thing that could go wrong right now is he could just run out of fuel.
Yeah.
So
it's about the only thing that can go wrong. Both Gian and Nick are our two cars that have retired from LMP3. All the GT4s are still out running. David Schneider, our last GT4 runner on the field, on the track.
Christopher Blue found his way around Corey Lobner somehow?
He's always been around Corey Lobner. Corey Lobner's been trying to chase him down. It hasn't happened yet. Because remember,
it looks like he passed him at an hour and 9 minutes from my readout.
Oh, well, let's take a look.
Because he did.
I have that
he
as
did
well.
hit.
Yeah. Oh, just got a good run out of there.
A good run, or is Corey? Are you fuel saving? Because he walked past you pretty fast. Are you fuel saving?
I wanna. Let me see. Go back to here.
No way. Corey's last lap was a 35-1.
I wonder if he hit an incident.
Maybe, but he did touch the wall.
Yeah, I'm see.
He heard the sound.
Yeah. It definitely looks like he's either fuel saving or is running out of fuel.
Yeah, I don't know. His last lap was a 35-19, and he still has yet to pit. So that'll be very interesting. If you kick it live for us, sir, we've got Austin Green's 3/10 from Ryan Buchanan.
Well, I had kicked it live.
Fantastic. Austin Green trying to give us a little bit of some racing action here at the end.
Kerry Nolan in the background.
Yep. Getting around Ethan Hamlet. They go into turn 1.
Ooh, check up as they try to not run into the rear end of David Schneider, who is currently making his way through the field. And they both are... Oh, maybe a better exit there. Swap of positions, one of the two.
Side by side as they get ready to go into turn 4.
Austin Green, I think, has the position around Ryan Buchanan, but Ryan Buchanan is not going to make it easy for him.
Man, just that inside presence. Austin had so much faith.
I would, because they are so close at that point. And just Austin praying that he doesn't run into Ryan as he makes that corner. Kerry Nolan now taking his sights to Ryan Buchanan as well. So he does a quick wiggle there.
I think Mark Coyne's on the fuel safe strategy. His last lap was a 28. He's running 2 seconds a lap faster than the GT4s.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Oh, Mark Coyne.
Oh, no. It's trying to make fetch happen.
He's definitely trying to make something happen. But he didn't make a 22.6 the previous lap. I wonder if he must have like an off track or something.
Maybe,
not an off track,
maybe.
but spun it.
Please tell me you're not fuel saving like that. not with those numbers, man. Not with those numbers.
And they're also trying to get around Corey Lobner amongst all this. Corey Lobner, I think, is also on the fuel strafe stat, setting lap times 4 seconds a lap slower than the cars that are passing him. Gabe Chavez setting the fastest lap of the session with a 1:19.94.
Yeah, he's running light and he don't care. And he's on the final lap.
He is on his final lap.
Turn 4 right now into turn 5 here where it starts to pinch down. And he has had a race. He has had a absolutely dominant round 6 here at Chicago. So just Chicago, just send me the details. I'll get him the key to the city. We'll be good. He's got to navigate some GT4 traffic here, but to be perfectly honest, he doesn't even have to bother.
No.
He's got 18 seconds on Chris Turner. He can just, roll the car to the checkers. But yeah, it's been an incredible race for Gab, and I'm sure he's super stoked finishing this one out as he comes around the final corner.
Checker flag is waves. Another big wiggle out of him as he takes that final line, time across the start-finish line. A rather dominant drive, but also not without its flaws. But I think, again, it's a street course. It's all about survival, like we talked about at the start of this. And he survived the best. Chris Turner coming in second. Jaden Ledbetter rounding the final corner to probably take home third. Scott Fleming, a rather aggressive attempt to take a podium spot ruined by iRacing physics, or maybe real life physics. I don't know. I would like to believe that's not exactly how LMP3s would act, or they would, make the car, give the car enough downforce to where it doesn't accidentally become a lift surface of the undercarriage.
Yeah. Just looking right now, I believe we're going to get Ethan Hamlet here in a minute. Coming across the line. Yeah, he's getting ready to go over the bridge. Ethan Hamlet, again, putting on a masterclass in GT4. 38 seconds ahead of Tanner Schiffner, who's had a phenomenal weekend, by the way. He's coming away with some massive points. Tommy Kogan with the feature race recovery.
Yeah. And he is
in the 55.
Parked there. Ethan Hamlet. Tanner Schiffner, one of our last cars. Oh, no, he's already also finished.
Yes. I believe it is Corey Lobner that we were waiting on.
Yep.
And Corey is getting the car across the line. I wonder how close he is to out of gas.
I would also like to wonder this.
But yeah, so round 6 is in the books on that one.
That
unfortunate, but you're going to take the points. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of curious what happened with that that extra pit stop, or that pit stop you did. It was kind of early. Maybe you had an incident of some type. I know Chris had one.
Yeah.
But
that is the Chris, if I remember correctly. That is the same Chris that we watched spin in.
Oh yeah, I know that. I was talking about Jaden. I was talking about Jaden saying unfortunate head damage, took his second pit early. Yep. There you go. There you have it. There you have it. It turns out it's not 40 chess, it's losing at checkers. But that said, Jaden Ledbetter is gonna put one foot in front of the other, and he's gonna go straight into round 7, and he's gonna turn this season around.
Still,
it's like the year of the Linux desktop. He's gonna make it happen. It's but anyway, results. So he also had some setting issues, but anyway, results. Tell us about it. Tell us about LMP3.
Certainly, LMP3. Gab Chavez after a rather eventful race, but a very consistent drive, bringing him home P1. 15 seconds behind him, Chris Turner. I think that would have been a much closer fight. I don't know who would have come out on top had Chris not made the unfortunate spin across John New front end. Jaden Ledbetter bringing home the podium spot, 30 seconds behind Gab Chavez. Again, that consistency of drive there from Gab really showing, even with kind of the events that happened with him. Scott Fleming, P4, another battle I think that would have been really amazing to see, but iRacing physics dictated otherwise. Mark Coyne comes on 5th, another fantastic for the hardest working person in sim racing. And P6, Gian Cardoso, P7, Nick Alvarado, both are 2 retirements of this race. How is LMP, or sorry, how is GT4 looking over in GT4 Pro?
Let's take a look at GT4 Pro right now. Ethan Hamlet, to no one's surprise, wins. continuing to dominate in GT4 category after dominating for 2 seasons in LMP3s. But Tanner Schiffner putting in a lot of work, you could tell. In terms of the pace numbers and whatnot, he was really kind of up there with Ethan. And I think just over the full race distance, you could see where Ethan's consistency and traffic management, he could just stretch out gaps by, by multiple tenths a lap. Tommy Cogan with a massive recovery drop. It almost makes me think, what would have happened if Tommy Cogan would have what if Tommy Cogan would have had a good quali? Like, what if he'd have started closer to the front in the heat race? Would we have actually had Tommy Cogan really taking the fight to someone like Tanner? In terms of the free practice pace, no, but clearly from the results, it looks like Tommy did end up figuring things out. Kyle Potter had a really good weekend, and then of course we've got Anthony Newman back in GT4 Pro after being in LMP3s for a little bit. He's rebuilding his season. Ryan Buchanan, Kerry Nolan, Austin Green, Matt Pyle round out your GT4 Pro runners. Tell us about what happened in the AM category.
In the AM category, we have the winner, Christopher Blue, a pretty fantastic drive, and then I believe, I would have to imagine, with the one stop that he pulled off, Corey Lobner on the fuel stave strategy, not far, but 25 seconds, not far in the grand scheme of things, behind him. Sean Sullivan in P3 rounds out that podium. John Newman is in 4th. Logan Branson, 8 laps down in 5th. And David Schneider also in 6th. Our smallest group of GT4M drivers this season. I'm not surprised. It's Chicago. Chicago is a street course, notably hard. And I'm just proud of all these guys for finishing. Like, it's a street course. It sucks in some regards. So I'm thrilled they all made it to the checkered in whatever position they are, because like they're still taking home a good set of points, because we only have 21, or sorry, we only have 15 GT4 drivers to begin with. So
yeah. And Chris coming in saying 6 out of 10 might do it again.
All right, well,
so funny stuff from Chris, who's joining us for the last few rounds here in season 1, 2025 of Track Limits Racing, the sports car series. We will we're gonna be gearing up for a couple weeks time for Spa, I believe. Well, actually, no.
Yeah,
we'll be gearing up next week.
Yeah, this is our triple header, our 3 weekends from now until
3 weekends in a row. That's gonna be a big close to the season. But Spa is gonna be coming up next week. I think that's gonna be a pretty good show, and then we get to that series finale, which I know you're stoked about. Mid-Ohio.
I'm also stoked about Spa. I do have a soft spot for Spa. It's the first endurance race I ever did in iRacing, so I'm excited for that. Yep. I'm also excited for Mid-Ohio. I think both will be fantastic racing. I think we'll see. I think given how the nature and the size of Spa, we'll have one of the either one of the biggest fields or one of the most spread out fields, and we will definitely have plenty of room on that track for everyone to find space and really run their consistent lap times.
And then I think I personally think I like Spa's. Spa's one of those tracks. Like I'm fine with it. Like it's there. But the thing that I'm looking forward to in Spa, I'm not necessarily looking forward to the racing on the track. I'm really looking to see how the season story continues to develop, because we've got some really interesting battles, especially in GT4 AM is going to get a bit of a shakeup. I think we're going to have a shift, and Christopher Blue might have some new faces chasing him as we get into those last couple rounds. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting end of the season, and we hope to see you guys there with us right now. I'm taking a look real quick to see if there's anybody we should just go raid right now. I do notice that we've got some folks out here doing Miatas, which is always fun. and also some GT3 racing and wheel setup. Actually, do the GT3 stuff because that everybody likes a little bit of GT3 action, right?
Mm-hmm.
Taking a peek real fast. Does look like actually no, we're gonna audible that because it looks like the person's AFK. So we'll get you guys set up with something. But again, be sure and check us out on on next week for round 7, Spa Francorchamps, or as my old colleague Mr. Molson used to say, Frankenchamps.
Frankenchomps. All right.
Yep. I know everybody in Belgium will never watch this stream ever again. All 0 people. But anyway,
just as a quick final note before we're getting off to the raid, GT4, the GT4 Class 4 track limits has been reopened. So,
yes,
if you are looking to drive the GT4s or the LMP3s, because now both are open, we have spots available on the grid. Would love for you to come out and join us for the last 2 rounds. And with that, who are we raiding?
We're gonna raid a Grenadian Angel, who is going to be doing, I believe, Miatas. Go check them out. And yeah, this has been round 6 at Chicagoland. I'm Whelpcakes. Finn, this has been awesome as always, sir. Thank you for doing it.
Absolutely.
And tune in next week. Spa, round 7. We'll see you guys there. Take it easy.